The first quarter tonight from Green Bay is sponsored by Goodwill. Believe in the power of work. It's the Green Bay Packers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs here at Lambeau with a threat of rain. The place filling up nicely, as you might expect. An early start, 6 o'clock. A lot on the minds of personnel people all over the league, and including the two guys here tonight, John Dorsey of Kansas City and, of course, Ted Thompson of the Green Bay Packers. It is not an easy time, Rich, and you have been in a position like this as a player fighting for a spot on the roster.
It's really an uneasy time for so many players, Kevin. I think with so many starters out, a real chance for extra snaps and playing time for so many young players trying to make both of these teams.
Green Bay Packers won the flip of the coin. They chose to defer, so they will kick off. Joe McKnight is deep back as you take a look at Mike McCarthy. And to kick off for Green Bay, Mason Crosby. McKnight had time, of course, at USC, played for the Jets, took off last year, now in Kansas City. The Packers, the Chiefs, the final preseason game, and we are underway. Nice move right there. Touch back to the 20-yard line. Rich will make it first down and 10. We will not see starters for either team on offense or defense. So, Rich, this is the perfect scenario for guys trying to make the roster.
It really is. And I mean, you talked about extra opportunities, and you find out a lot about these players and how important it is to them in this last preseason game. Kevin, in my 17 years, I saw a number of players make a squad based on what they did, not necessarily in the all-season program, but just in a number of snaps in the fourth preseason game.
Chase Daniel is the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he quickly goes outside and finds Frankie Hammond Jr. He's out of Florida. It's a pickup of 6 on the play. They'll place him at the 27-yard line. Take a look at LaTroy Guion, who is on that line. Josh Boyd will play as well, but Guion gets the start.
Yeah, and he hasn't played at all in the first 3 preseason games. He needs to play, and he needs to get some reps, particularly with the injury to B.J. Raji.
Probably first preseason game reps coming up for Guion, who had a hamstring. It occurred before the beginning of the preseason with a run for Niall Davis. Not much right there. And some quick linebacker play by Nick Perry, who played well last week against the Oakland Raiders.
And this is good to see Nick Perry getting more snaps, and I think playing with more confidence through the preseason. Battled injuries really the first 2 years and some inconsistent play. I think the game is starting to slow down for Nick Perry.
First round pick, a lot of eyes on him.
A lot of eyes on him. And again, there's a reason why they went out and signed Julius Peppers. He's got to pick it up some.
Back in the nickel, Chase Daniel being chased. He's got the first down. Clinton Dix, the one to whack him across the way, but he scrambles for 4. They move the chains. The starting quarterback for Kansas City is Alex Smith. His backup, Daniel, and Clinton Dix, the number 1 pick for Green Bay with the hit.
You better not ease up on the boundary. You look at Chase Daniel. He's going to step up inside. And we talk about containing a mobile quarterback like Daniel. You better not slow up on the boundary, or Clinton Dix will take a shot at you.
Packers in the nickel with a 1st and 10 for the Chiefs in the game-opening drive. And they go underneath right here. With a throw caught by Kelsey, the tight end, a gain of 8 on the play.
Got a chance to see Chase Daniel make his first and only start of the season last year, and really of his career, against San Diego in week 17. Chiefs rested all their starters and almost won that game. San Diego actually wins the game and advances to the postseason.
Back up for Drew Brees in New Orleans, right through the hands of the intended receiver, Demetrius Harris. He is out of UW in Milwaukee, so this is familiar territory for him. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 2.
Well, you look at the Packers through the preseason, Kevin, on defense, and one of the things that's impressed me is how they played the run on the early downs. A little bit of a problem a year ago. We talk about pushing a team back, getting it back behind in the down and distance. You know, these 3rd and shorts are tough on a defense. They've got to win on first down, something they have done a much better job of through the first 3 preseason games.
6 defensive backs, 3rd down and 2. They get the first down. Good throw, right on the screws, caught by Albert Wilson, a rookie free agent out of Georgia State. Picks up 13, down to the Packer 48.
And you can already see the Chiefs going no huddle, spreading out this Packers defense, going empty. So really putting some stress on those linebackers and in that secondary with no backs in the backfield.
And then the defense, they can't adjust to what they see offensively.
Well, it makes it tough to make substitutions and makes it tough to communicate. This is a good tune-up for what this Packers defense is going to face a week from tonight in Seattle.
And a lot of noise, too. First down and 10, Daniel. And going for the tight end, Harris. And incomplete. A couple back there, including Casey Hayward, who didn't play last week because they're concerned about the hamstring.
Well, it's good to see some performance from these safeties. And I think that, you look at Micah Hyde and you look at Clinton Dix, Sean Richardson, Morgan Burnett, who's not playing tonight. I think they've got 4 safeties that can start. And I think that's a good problem to have if you're the Packers.
And Hyde and Clinton Dix going after the same position.
Yeah, they've playing a lot of snaps alongside one another through the preseason.
Second and 10 as they go outside to DeAnthony Thomas out of Oregon. He's a rookie and a 4th-round pick, and he picks up 5, and they'll put him at the Green Bay 43.
And Kevin, regardless of how that battle turns out between Micah Hyde and Clinton Dix, I think they're all going to play. I mean, I think that one of the things that Mike McCarthy has talked about and really stressed the entire offseason is more versatility within the scheme defensively. In other words, let's use more players in different roles and different positions so that we don't have a shortage. When injuries start to happen in the middle of the season, we've had guys that have played a number of snaps through the month of September.
6 defensive backs, 3rd and 5, low, uncatchable. Bad pass by Daniel. The defense holds. They were going for Harris. They got a punt. Clinton Dix. You know he's going to make the team, but at safety, these are the names in the mix.
Yeah, and it's a question of how many they keep. And they kept 4 safeties a year ago. And also, the other thing that factors in is you got a guy like Jared Bush that can play some safety as well, and he's a corner. So, I think they're going to keep 4. It looks like, obviously, Morgan Burnett, Micah Hyde, Clinton Dix. Then you got, between Richardson and Banjo, I think it's really going to come down to who is going to help them more on special teams.
Dustin Colquitt will punt for the Kansas City Chiefs, and the rookie Jeff Janis is back. There's an errant snap, which was handled beautifully by the veteran Colquitt, and from the 6-yard line with a hang time of 4.1, Janis running out. They're also auditioning for people to possibly return both kicks and punts. 31-yard punt. Packers will get it next. In Lambeau and Green Bay, scoreless. No score. Packers get it for the first time. A lot of pressure on these backup quarterbacks trying to make the final 53.
And a real battle for that second spot behind Aaron Rodgers between Matt Flynn and Scott Tolzien. And Kevin, we were just talking during the break about Matt Flynn. We watched him 7 years ago as a rookie make this team and really beat out Brian Brom, their 2nd-round pick.
Sherrod playing the left tackle with the block, and he goes deep right here, and it's incomplete for Jarrett Boykin, 3 years out of Virginia Tech. Flynn, of course, left Green Bay, signed the big deal with Seattle. They also drafted Russell Wilson, and Wilson beat him out as a rookie, went to Oakland, was cut, Buffalo cut, and comes to Green Bay last year.
Well, they start off with a go route, trying to take a shot down the field to a guy that's really had a good training camp, in Jarrett Boykin. Has the size, the physicalness, really has become a much better route runner this offseason.
2nd down and 10. Here comes James Starks. Down by the grasp that time of Josh Mauga. Loses a yard on the play. Starks backing up Eddie Lacy, who will not play tonight. So we take a look at the starters. We mentioned Sherrod playing that left tackle, but here are the guys in the backfield. A much improved blocking from Kuhn, and Starks carrying moments ago.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Devontae Adams. He needs to step it up a little bit. 2nd-round pick. Didn't get off to a good start first preseason game, but Kevin, this is really where we begin to evaluate some of these rookies in terms of how game ready are they? How ready are they to participate and be key contributors during the regular season?
Offensive lineman Aaron Adams, who spent all of last season on the practice squad, after getting waived by Cleveland, is the injured Packer. Will step aside at Lambeau. Adams is out, and there's Flynn. The fact is that one of these guys will be gone because they're not. Whoever is let go is not going to practice. Could be on the practice squad. They're not going to clear waivers. They're going to be picked up by somebody.
Well, right. There's no guarantees they keep 3, Kevin. I think, in fact, each of the past 5 seasons they've chosen to keep a 3rd quarterback on the practice squad. We know the last time they kept 3 was when Flynn was a rookie. But Tolzien has practice squad eligibility. Flynn does not. So if they decide to go with Tolzien, then Flynn will be released.
Well, Sherrod, who was on the left side, now on the right side, was moving, and that's what the flag was all about right there on that 3rd and 11.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 55.
And he was
5-yard
induced.
penalty. 3rd down.
Penalty on D Ford, the rookie out of Alabama, the Chiefs' #1 pick.
And all these Packer quarterbacks do such a great job varying and changing up their snap count. They have double cadence. They've got, all different types of tools in their toolbox to kind of draw off the defense. They do a great job changing it up so that it slows down that pass rush.
Tolzien will play the 2nd and 4th quarter. Flynn will play the 1st and 3rd. With the penalty, 3rd and 6. And he's got the receiver with the flag thrown on the play. This is the rookie tight end Richard Rodgers out of Cal, lumbering his way up to the 35, pick up a 14. Like I said, flag was thrown. It's against the Chiefs. Good pass.
Boy, Richard Rodgers just looks really natural, not only as a route runner, but catching the football. He just plucks it right out of the air. He doesn't fight it. You see some of these tight ends, they let it get on their body, into their shoulder pads, into their chest area. He's a natural hands catcher, and I think he's going to be a really good one once he figures things out.
Vunovich is playing now the left tackle with Aaron Adams out. And so they've kind of juggled the offensive line a bit with the 1st and 10 starts. Well, there was a good block by Corliss. That opens the door. He's brought down on the play by the secondary. Gain of 9, and he's up to the 43-yard line.
I really like how the backs are running the ball right now. All 3 of them, Lacey, Starks, has looked really good in the preseason. I go back to that performance against the Tennessee Titans in the rain, and he just look at the moves, just natural. He's got great vision. He looks stronger. He's done a great job in the passing game. I think they've got a very healthy running back situation here in Green Bay.
2nd down and 1. First time the Packers have had it. Rodgers not suiting up tonight. Starks has the 1st and a bit more. The one thing, if they want to run the no huddle, Rich, they've got to have running backs that can play 3 downs plus.
Yeah, some versatility at the running back position. I think they have that with Lacey. I think clearly they have it with James Starks. And I think DeJuan Harris has really come on this preseason. So I think that they've got 3 backs they feel really good about that can stay on the field in 3rd down.
Starks again, battling injuries for a good portion of his career. Some of the numbers right there in the preseason, just under 4 yards a carry, 1st and 10. Flynn, grabbed by Boykin, veteran, right in front of Ron Parker, who makes the stop. Pickup of 10. These are some of the numbers with the 2 quarterbacks.
And you can't get too caught up in a lot of the numbers in the preseason, but as I said in the open, Kevin, I think Scott Tolzien has really narrowed the gap. I mean, he's a guy that's worked really hard at it. I think he's worked a lot on his fundamentals, his mechanics, his footwork. I think you know what you have in Matt Flynn. He's the veteran guy that knows the system. Tolzien's kind of the young apprentice that's coming on a little bit, got a chance to get his feet wet last year, but he has opened some eyes during training camp with how he has performed.
Starks in 2nd 1, gets the 1st down. There was a lead block there by Gerhardt, who led over the left side. He picks up 4. So these have been quarterbacks, both Tolzien and Flynn, who are being heavily watched by many scouts who have been to every single Packer preseason game at home and on the road. And they're licking their chops for the one that's going to be let free.
It's a real dilemma because there are a number of teams out there that need help at the quarterback position. And so if the Packers decide to keep 2 and let one of these guys go, it's most certainly they'll be picked up. And so that's the problem. They'd love to keep all of them, but not so sure that's going to be the case.
1st and 10, going deep and incomplete. They had Ron Parker's out of Newbury following Jarrett Boykin down the side. 2nd time that Flynn has gone deep to Boykin in the game. Flynn had the elbow problems a season ago.
Yeah, he really struggled. He goes to Oakland. They had that long layoff between the end of minicamp and training camp. Comes into training camp and he just wasn't right, which led me to believe, Kevin, he wasn't doing enough throwing prior to the start of training camp. You throw twice a day during training camp. He's getting all the reps now because why? He's the starter. So I don't know if he really prepared himself the way he should have a season ago as he was getting ready to try and be the starter out in Oakland.
2nd down and 10 for Flynn. Shot with the block, holding off Ford, who gets away and brings down the scrambling quarterback. But They do get some yards to the 36 and pick up 6 on the scramble by Flynn.
I think it's really important for Corey Lindsley, their 5th-round pick out of Ohio State, to play well tonight. You're going to see him right in the middle of your screen there. Nice double-team block there. Now, just got to finish. That's a big part of playing that position. You set the tone in the middle of the line of scrimmage with how you play, how you hustle, and how you finish blocks.
And think about the guards on either side, veterans that will help him. 3rd down and 5. That's Gillette, number 1 in motion, the former college quarterback. Here comes Ford again. He gets by Sherrod. There goes Flynn. He's got the first down to the 30-yard line, maybe even sneaking in the 29. And you always say he knows the offense so well, can read. There's a flag down at the 22-yard line on the near side of the field. That looks to be against Kansas City.
Defensive holding. I mean, we've seen so many of these penalties through the preseason.
And what's your read on that?
Well, I think I don't think we'll see as many week 1, and here's why. I think first of all, we see most of the starters, not the backups.
Illegal contact, defense number 23, while the quarterback was still in the pocket. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the play. First down.
Coach Andy Reid, 2nd year with Kansas City, watching.
And this is good to see Matt Flynn, I mean, use his legs. And I think you talked about the experience in the system. When it's not there, the ability to be able to pull the ball down and run and make a first down.
Big play on this drive was a pass to the rookie tight end Richard Rodgers of 14 yards. Drive began back at the Green Bay 14. 11th play of it coming up with a first down and 10 from the Chiefs 25. Chiefs were really whacked last week in Kansas City against the Minnesota Vikings. It starts out of the University of Buffalo and brought down by Jay Howard out of Florida. Gain of 3 by Starks to the 22.
It's a good looking back. You know, you look at you like the size, you like the length, you like the quickness in the burst at the line of scrimmage, and his ability to be involved in the passing game. He's got good hands, he's got good patience in the screen game, and he's willing to swell up and block those big rushers off the edge when it comes to protection.
2nd down and 7. And deep touchdown. Davante Adams, 22-yard strike, and the leap, his first.
You're seeing so much two-deep man coverage by the Chiefs. The area you want to attack is in the middle of the field, and they do it with the rookie, Davante Adams. Really nice throw and catch there.
Good long drive by the Packers, starting, as you said before, at the 14-yard line. First time they had the ball, 12 plays, 80 yards. A little under 6 minutes on the first quarter clock with the extra point by Mason Crosby. 7-0 Green Bay. So the rookie out of Fresno State, Adams, with his 5th reception of the preseason and his first Green Bay touchdown. Davante Adams just lassoed a 22-yard touchdown pass from Flynn, who was right on the money. Adams led college football in receptions last season and touchdown receptions. He was number 2 in yards. Lindsley with a nice block on that pass play.
Well, Corey Lindsley, he looks really comfortable inside. Look, he just keeps his feet moving, drives the defensive tackle into the ground. He's a grinder. You know, he was great in the running game at Ohio State. He got better each season in the passing game. Uses his hands really well. It's got a good wide base.
They say he's as strong as anybody on that line. Joe McKnight will bring it out and brought down on the play. Big special team play by Sam Barrington. He's had a solid camp as he tries to carve his name on the group of 53. 5.5 to play in the first quarter. Flynn with the 22-yard touchdown pass and some nice special teams here at Lambeau. He's going to have it for a second time. 8 plays punt the first time. A lot of eyes on the rookie 3rd-round pick out of Southern Miss, who has been disappointing, Kyrie Thornton for Green Bay.
Kevin, there's a couple draft picks that really have to play well tonight. Kyrie Thornton, one of them. Carl Bradford, the 4th-round pick. Thornton, the 3rd-round pick. This kid has to make a few plays here in the first half.
Robinson and Gray have been a little bit more effective.
There he was.
Yep, just about had it right there. Swerving Niall Davis, who's out to about the 13-yard line on a pickup of 3.
Great penetration. Just got to be able to finish. And that's what you want to see.
But he is clearly a guy right now that is in the crosser.
Yeah, good recognition. Does a nice job getting upfield. Now he just got to make the tackle. Things happen so much quicker at this level for these rookies.
4 defensive backs, 2nd down and 7 for the Chiefs. And Clinton Dix coming up making the stop on Niall Davis, who's out of Arkansas. It was a gain of 4. They love, of course, his tackling. He has a presence coming from the secondary to go up in the box and make those stops.
Well, he is going to make his presence felt around the line of scrimmage. He is a great tackler in the open field. He is physical, and I think that this is something the Packers wanted and needed, and that's why they went out and got him. He can play at all 3 levels of this defense.
3rd and 4, 6 defensive backs. Chase Daniel out of Missouri. Flag thrown. It'll be on Kansas City. The knockdown right there by Jamal Roll.
Holding offense, number 79. Half the distance to the goal. 3rd down.
Donald Stevenson, who has just been leveled a 4-game suspension because of PED, so he's going to play tonight, and then he'll be done for a month.
Kevin, you and I are going to get a chance to see the Chiefs next week, week 1 in Kansas City, and this offensive line has not played particularly well through the preseason. Stevenson has struggled. Eric Fisher has really had a difficult time making the adjustment from the right tackle to the left tackle.
Number 1 overall pick last year.
Number 1 overall pick last year. So they've got some work to do to keep Alex Smith clean and to open up some holes for Jamal Charles during the regular season.
Packers now have 6 in the secondary. 3 wide out, you see. 3rd and 12. Daniel, oh, they got him! This kid, Jaron Elliott, 5 sacks in less than the last 3 games, losing 5. An incredible find, the rookie free agent out of Toledo.
He's got a great motor. He uses his hands really well, and he's a finisher. And just look at, he's going to get blocked. You see the back come over, try and help, and it's a great job getting his arm up and getting the quarterback on the ground.
Can I tell you something? I think he's got the roster made. I mean, the last 3 games, he's been phenomenal.
And this is a defense that's looking, you can't have enough guys that can rush the passer.
Cole quick to punt for a 2nd time. And Janis, the rookie, is back for Green Bay at about the 35-yard line with a slight breeze inside Lambeau tonight. Janis from the 42, hang time of 4-4. Here he goes. Blessed with great speed. We saw it in St. Louis against the Rams with a catch-and-run touchdown. 54-yard punt, 7-yard return. Jaron Elliott from Toledo, 5 sacks in the last 2.5 games. You looked at me and said, you think he's got the team made? I said, I think he does. What do you think?
Well, you look at the numbers. Julius Peppers, A.J. Hawk, Brad Jones, Clay Matthews, Mike Neal, Lattimore, Barrington, Perry. There's 8 right there. Do they keep 9? Do they keep 10? It's going to come down to the wire. Special teams is going to have a lot to do with it.
Flynn going deep and incomplete. He was looking for the rookie Devontae Adams, who had a touchdown reception the last time. Downstairs to Rod Burks.
Well, guys, we got an injury update for you. Aaron Adams, number 77, is out with a knee injury. But I'll tell you what, I was down here when Jaron Elliott came off that field after getting to the quarterback for that sack. He was fired up, and so was Mike Daniels and the rest of this team. This guy is really trying to cement himself a roster spot tonight. Back up to you.
Rod, thank you. 2nd down and 10. Flynn's gone deep a couple times.
They just haven't been able to hit it.
Harris is in for the first time and tackled in the secondary by Daniel Sorensen, rookie out of BYU. Pickup of 7 right there. And the depth at running back has been one of the hot topics in camp. They've got a lot of it.
They've got some guys that hit the hole in a hurry and run with great vision and power. And if you're going to play in this offense, you have to be a factor in the passing game, and I think all of them. I think Eddie Lacy has really improved in that area, James Starks, and even DeJuan Harris.
Lindsley had a nice block on that last play. Again, 3rd down and 3. It's on by Flynn, and he took too much time, and down he goes. As you see, the Chiefs get him Frank Zombo, a former Packer. among the many in there for the Chiefs, a loss of 11. And that will push them back to about the 46.
And when we think about protection, so often we see a sack and we think about the offensive line.
5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Oh my gosh, flag against Kansas City.
There's been so many of them this year in the preseason. Kevin, I think the number is going to go down. You have to adapt. When you play defense, corner position, you talk about these illegal contacts and these defensive holding penalties, which we've seen a great deal of through the preseason.
Illegal contact, automatic first down for the Packers. DeJuan Harris has some shifty moves, and he's brought down again. Another tackle made by Zombo. Good shifty move of 7 yards. In the NFL this year, they've put these as the points of emphasis.
Well, the offensive PI, the illegal contact, we've seen a ton of them. The illegal hands to the face, Kevin. I think what we've seen in the past is defensive lineman, offensive line. This is really line play where we jam the opponent in the face to kind of stymie him a little bit. We've seen much more of an emphasis on that as well. Certainly player safety has a lot to do with it.
That's the Chiefs on that last play. Here comes Harris. The 2 reconstructed knees. He runs for 11, takes it to the 21, and gets a first down. He's had gains of 11 and 7 on this drive.
And this second unit, this offensive line, they're starting to play well together. The more reps that they've gotten through the preseason. They've done a nice job, both the 1s and the 2s, opening up holes in the running game, getting up on the second level, and taking some of those hits off of those backs.
Josh, you said it, for a lot of these guys, this is their Super Bowl. You're seeing some good effort. Harris on 1st and 10. Ainsley again trying to lead the way. He carves out 3, and he's down to the Kansas City 18.
Kevin, I think one of the keys for this offense this year, they have to continue to build on the production they got a season ago from Eddie Lacy in the running game. Take some of the pressure off of Aaron Rodgers in the passing game. And I think that's a big part of it. The other key, I think, is protecting the franchise quarterback. Aaron was hit way too much a season ago. He's got to do a better job of getting rid of the football. But those are some keys. Finally, growth at the tight end position. And don't forget, staying healthy. This has been a problem for this team. This team has ranked among 3 of the most injured teams 3 of the past 4 years in the NFL. And we've already seen a number of significant injuries through the preseason.
Indeed. So Flynn quarterbacking in the first quarter. And he's already got a 22-yard touchdown pass. That right there to Rodgers, the tight end. And then finding Davante Adams for 6, and the Packers 7-0 after 1 at Lambeau. The second quarter from Titletown tonight is sponsored by Menards. Save big money at Menards. Bob Brooks is on our sideline tonight with former NFL MVP Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan. Flynn will continue and finish off the drive. We've had runs of 11 and 7 by Harris. Starting the second quarter, 2nd down and 7. Flynn looking comfortable. Adams again, the rookie, brought down on the play by James Michael Johnson. That's a pickup of 12. And another first down, 1st and goal coming up.
Yeah, speaking looking comfortable, I mean, Davante Adams looks so much more comfortable in the offense. He just runs the slant route. Look at the separation he gets between himself and the corner. You love those big receivers that can work inside, and that's what you get with Davante Adams.
1st and goal.
Matt Flynn changing the play at the line of scrimmage.
Yes, read well that time. Coming through for the Chiefs. Josh Martin along with Vance Walker. Walker was a free agent, high-priced one, signed by Kansas City.
And that's a tough block when you have a defensive lineman on your outside shoulder. Penetration down in this part of the field absolutely kills you in the running game.
Numbers on Flynn to begin tonight. Came in mid last season and helped the team when they were, which we talked about before, down to their 4th quarterback.
He's got to throw the deep ball better.
2nd and goal at the 11 to the end zone for White. And Van Dyke, a former #1 pick by Oakland, with the coverage for Kansas City.
And that's 3 times tonight already, Kevin, where we've seen Matt Flynn throw the ball out of bounds. You got to keep these receivers on the field and give them a chance to make a play.
Is it that back shoulder thing they're trying? Because Rodgers does it so well, but to mimic that for a backup is very difficult.
Well, it is difficult, and you got a cornerback in a trail technique, so that's not really the throw that you want there. But you got to give these bigger receivers down in this part of the field the ability to go up and make a play. And you don't do that when you throw the ball 3 or 4 yards out of bounds.
3rd and goal coming up for the Packers early in the second quarter, and a timeout taken as Mike McCarthy will talk with Matt Flynn. 13:36 to go. You know, Mike said something interesting this morning about who is going to, of the two quarterbacks, Tolzien, who we're going to see soon, and Flynn, who we've seen on these first couple drives for Green Bay, who is going to help Aaron Rodgers? But explain what that involves and why there is an importance there.
I think so much goes into the evaluation process, Kevin, between Scott Tolzien and Matt Flynn. And it's not just what we see in the preseason games. It's every day in practice. It's in the meeting room. It's how they get along with this guy, how they mesh with him, how they can help prepare Aaron during the course of the week. And so that dynamic is really important. And that we always talk about the sanctity, the importance of that quarterback meeting room. It's something that Mike McCarthy takes very seriously.
3rd and goal at the 11. Sherrod with the block at the right tackle. Good footwork, and then a drop there by Harris. Coverage by the linebacker Zombo. 4th down, and they will go for 3.
Well, you can't fault Matt Flynn there. I mean, he went through his progressions. He held it. You see his eyes. He starts to his right. He steps back up. He feels the pressure. He's looking. He's looking. He's looking. He's waiting. Smart. Don't want to take a sack. Don't want to turn the football over in that part of the field.
So here comes Crosby. And he has gone 4 of 5 in the preseason. 29-yarder right here. And perfect. 3 more on the board. We've had a 22-yard touchdown pass to Adams from Flynn. Crosby from 29. And the Packers extend their lead in the final preseason game. Flynn has had it twice, and he's taken his team to 10 points, including a 22-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, he's looked sharp. Just the one thing you'd like to get cleaned up is there's some opportunities on some of these deep balls to give these receivers a chance to make a play.
McKnight 3 yards deep on the Crosby kick after his 29-yard field goal, and he was brought down. Nice play right there by Nate Palmer. Flag was thrown, 21-yard return.
During the return, receiving team number 52. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
Another Kansas City penalty. Ted Thompson, the general manager, will be making these cuts with Mike. He likes to be on the sideline in the preseason.
Well, first of all, I think he's one of the best evaluators of talent in the National Football League. The other thing, Kevin, is there's some things that you can see down on the field that you can't get from the tape. You get a chance to watch the players interact with their teammates, interact with the coaches. You get a chance to watch these players come on and off the field. You get a chance to look in their eyes, and the eyes don't lie. They'll tell you. They'll tell you this player is confident, the player knows what he's doing, or the player isn't. The player's overwhelmed by the situation, the enormity of the situation. So I think it makes a lot of sense to see Ted Thompson down on the field.
New quarterback is Tyler Bray out of Tennessee, and on 1st and 10, he whips it upfield. It's a tackle by Carl Bradford. A grab on the play by Albert Wilson, gain of 9 for the Chiefs.
Well, we're looking at Tyler Bray there. I mean, he's got a little battle on his hands. You know, the Chiefs drafted a quarterback this year in Aaron Murray in the 5th round. So they've got Alex Smith, they've got Chase Daniel, and they've got a decision to make between Tyler Bray and Aaron Murray.
Harris makes the grab. They've gone to him a couple times. And Bradford, first team all Pac-12 defensive end, making that switch to linebacker. That's not easy, but you see a lot of it with Green Bay.
Well, they've got those athletic body types that can play in a 2-point stance, that can be 4-down players.
It's down 10. Ray trying to work his way in, picks up a couple yards on the play. Cyrus Gray out of Texas A&M. He was a 6th-round pick by the Chiefs. We're talking about Bradford and Thornton, 2 guys, fairly high picks, right in the crosshairs.
Yeah, this is really a nice play here, just sorting it out and getting in there and lowering the boom. A guy they really like coming out of college. I think he can be a really good special teams player for them as well.
High school fullback, so we know he can run. 2nd down and 8. We'll blow that dead. Terry McCauley is our referee tonight. Another penalty against Kansas City. They've got 5 already. couple costly ones, too.
Looks sloppy. A lot of penalties through the preseason for the Chiefs. You know, Andy Reid not pleased with how some of these guys have performed, and they've got plenty to get cleaned up before next week.
Playoff team a year ago at 11-5 after a 9-0 start.
But a team that Andy took over that won 2 games the year before.
2-14, exactly. I gave him the #1 pick, and that was Fisher. He's not in right now, having an illness tonight. Bray, and on the deflection, almost picked off on the play, coming through with almost that swipe was Sean Richardson, who's had a good camp.
Well, this one comes out a little hot and a little high for the quarterback, and it gets tipped. Usually when they get tipped, they get intercepted in the middle of the field.
What's some of your defensive keys, Rich? You're looking at the team overall in this 4th game.
I think better defensive line, Kevin, it's going to be imperative. Guys like Dayton Jones and Mike Daniels have to play well. We talked about replacing B.J. Raji. More consistency and a more coordinated pass rush. It was a real problem a year ago.
Packers in the nickel, 3rd and 13 for Bray. A lot of noise. Timeout, Kansas City.
2 more keys real quickly, Kevin, as we were talking about better defensive line play. We talked about a more coordinated and consistent pass rush from the front 7. I think more versatility in the scheme. That's been a common theme throughout the preseason. The usage of players, the usage of different personnel groups, and finally more takeaways and more splash plays or more impact plays than they had a year ago. Just 22 takeaways from this Packers defense, 11 fumble recoveries and 11 interceptions. That's not enough.
Mike was talking to us this morning about the role veteran players, Rich, have played for the Packers. He's wanted to see leadership, and he has seen it from guys all the way from Julius Peppers to guys who've only been in the Packer uniform for a couple of years.
That's when you know you have something special. We get a quick look at the takeaways from a year ago, but you know, from last 2 years. But the ability to have the older players reach out and help the younger players that, quite frankly, are coming here to take their job.
Right.
It's a great situation. It's a selfless football team that Mike has put together, and Ted Thompson here in Green Bay.
What a business. Nickel secondary, 3rd and 13. Bray broken up beautifully by Roll. He is fighting for a position on this team. Jamal Roll, who is out of little school. He was on the practice squad last October, you may recall, from Catawba, and he is a guy that is trying to be one of the 6 cornerbacks that this team takes. Dimitri Goodson, by the way, not playing tonight because of a concussion. Roll against Goodson is the perceived battle for that final spot, 6th cornerback. Janis is back. Colquitt will once again punt. 3rd consecutive punt for the Kansas City offense. Good hang time and good distance here. And Janis from the 31, hang time of 4.7. Out of bounds he goes. And maneuvers it up after a 54-yard Colquitt punt. Packers on D. Roll right there, coming up with a nice play on defense, trying to make the final 53. Rich Ganey, you said at the top of the broadcast that Scott Tolzien out of Wisconsin has closed the gap between he and Flynn for the backup role.
I think he's really performed well in the preseason, and not just in the games, Kevin, but in practice and in some of the controlled scrimmages, 7-on-7 periods, team blitz period, red zone, 2-minute. He looks much more comfortable in the offense. He's playing faster from under center, and I think he's made it very, very interesting between himself and Matt Flynn.
3rd Packer possession. They've scored in the first 2 with a 22-yard touchdown pass and a 29-yard field goal. Tolzien deftly moving out of the pocket. Miles White getting a block from Corliss. Working on the side. Nice gain. Tackle by Gaines. Gain of 11 down to the sideline, and Rod Burks.
Thanks, guys. We are joined by the heart and soul of the Green Bay Packers defense, Clay Matthews, taking the night off today. Of course, no shoulder pads. I first got to ask you how you come along with that thumb has been bothering you for a while.
It feels great. It feels fantastic. Definitely ready for week 1 against Seattle. I think this preseason more than any other was crucial for me in that I need to get back out there, get my feet back under me, and just have the mental confidence to throw my hand around in there and make sure I'm the same play. And I feel that way. So, like I said, resting up for a big Seattle game.
All right, let's talk about Julius Peppers. They went and got him on the offseason and brought him in here. How excited are you to get him on that other edge so you're not getting double and triple teamed during the football games?
I'm real excited, and not just myself to help free me up a little bit, but I think for this defense, it seems like we got a good group of veterans out there, and it doesn't feel like a patchwork defense. Guys, even though we brought in Julius and have Ha coming in and stepping up, we feel like we've been a defense that's solidifying and maturing before our eyes. So it's good to see. We've made some great strides through this preseason, and it'll be an exciting test come week 1.
All right, give me what's the one thing that really excites you about this defense going into this year? Mike McCarthy said, put it in big letters. You guys will be better on defense.
I think it's the tenacity, really. I think it's the overall attitude of our defense. Maybe in years prior, we might have got pushed around a little bit, given up a little too much. But I think you'll see it from this year that we're not going to back down. We're going to stand up, and we're going to be the defense that we've grown accustomed to that you saw in the Super Bowl run.
All right, that's Clay Matthews bringing us strong from the sideline. We're going to send it back up to you guys upstairs.
Thank you, Rod. Good job. And a 4-time Pro Bowler and a guy who means so much. And if he can stay healthy, watch out.
Well, you think about him missing, 5 games last year, Kevin. And I loved what he said about really setting the tone and the tempo and not backing down. I mean, they have to be dominant on defense once again to win another championship.
6 defensive backs. Tolzien facing 3rd down and 8. Hill in the backfield with him. Sherrod the block at the right tackle, and here they come again. And out of bounds he runs. Flag has been thrown. It's at the 43-yard line. Tolzien getting about as far as the 46. Looks like it's on Kansas City.
Defense number 23. 5-yard
6
penalty at the
penalties.
end of the play. Automatic
This is not
first
what you
down.
want to see. Now, these are backups, granted, but this is not what you want to see if you're Coach Andy Reid.
Well, you got young guys trying to make an impression, trying to make the football team and cheating a little bit, grabbing. You don't want to get beat, so what do? You grab a little jersey. And that's exactly what happened in that situation. You just don't want it in a 3rd and long situation.
Well, yeah. I mean,
understanding situational football is so important for a lot of these young players.
That was a rookie 3rd-round pick, Philip Gaines out of Rice, who was called right there. So the drive continues. Started back at the 41. With the 1st and 10. Hill. This little move. Trying to make that last running back position. A couple years out of Missouri Western State. Pickup of 3 on the play. Someone was saying the other day that Mike McCarthy's running game, it's developed over the years he's been here, and may be the most complex one that he's ever had. And Lacey may be adding to that complexity.
Well, he's a special back. I mean, you look at the production they got from Eddie Lacy last year. He was everything that they were hoping for and more. And I think his continued development in the offense in terms of his understanding of the passing game, and I think their ability to roll in a guy like James Starks to keep him fresh and DeJuan Harris. I think it's a really good situation now that they have the running back position.
Just saw Lacey. Here comes Hill. Picks up 4 on the play. Hey, fans, be sure to tune in to the Packers Radio Network during the regular season for the Menards Big Play Contest during the 2nd quarter. You could win $500 if the Packers score a touchdown from 25 yards or more on a single play during the quarter. For details, visit any Wisconsin Menards store. Hopefully there'll be a lot of those.
Well, the way Aaron Rodgers has looked through the preseason, you can count on it. They have looked really sharp. And I love this up-tempo, no-huddle offense that we've seen from the ones throughout the preseason.
3rd and 3 for Tolzien. Looking on the side, he's got his receiver, and then a great knock away at the very end by DeMarcus Van Dyke, and they were going for Kevin Dorsey, who's trying to make the team. 2nd-year player out of Maryland. Nice defensive play.
And Kevin Dorsey really could have helped Scott Tolzien here. Once he makes the double move, now change lanes. In other words, get back inside. Stop running to the boundary. You're making it easy for the corner. And what's happening now is these quarterbacks are zeroing in on the receiver, and they're throwing the ball either on the boundary or out of bounds. Once you get outside that corner, you've got to jump back in. We talk about changing lanes and giving the quarterback 3 or 4 yards on the boundary.
Seen this a lot, going for it on 4th down, not just Green Bay, but all over the NFL in preseason.
Well, tonight we talk about situational football, going for it in the 2-point play, going for it on 4th down. These are some things that are going to come up early in the season.
4th and 3 for Tolzien. Janis, touchdown! What a play! Beating Philip Gaines, a 33-yard touchdown pass. Second touchdown for Janis in this preseason. Once in St. Louis for 32, this baby from 33 yards away.
And I love the call on 4th and 3. Taking a shot down the field. A terrific throw and catch gets it done.
So each quarterback going for the backup position is throwing a touchdown pass tonight.
They both have looked sharp through the first half.
And the extra point by Crosby. Makes it 17-0 Green Bay halfway through the second quarter. Scott Tolzien, who has command in this offense, which they like. And then he goes for the rookie, the 7th-round pick out of Saginaw Valley State, Jeff Janis. Terrific touchdown. Packers in the shutout. There's a battle at wide receiver. A lot of talented guys there.
There really is, and I think Janis has really helped himself, Kevin, in terms of how he has played the last couple of weeks in the preseason. He's had some big performances in practice, which have caught the eye of Mike McCarthy, and the fact that he can return punts and kicks is huge.
Gillette, second year here, Adams is the rookie. He got a touchdown pass. Gillette, the former college quarterback. Albert Wilson will retrieve the Crosby kick and take it out. The rookie free agent from Georgia State. And he's drilled on the play. Chris Banjo. They signed him last year. He had to play through a hamstring, he said, just to make the team. He said, I am not going to sit. He made it. There he is, trying to put his fingerprints on another roster position for this year. And special teams may be his cause.
He's a good special teams player.
Banjo from SMU.
And that's a different skill set in and of itself. I mean, think about these players, these rookies. Hardly any of them played special teams in college. And now you've got to learn how to run down, cover a kick, break down, take on double teams.
They've always been the best player. They never had to play it. It's down in 10. Cyrus Gray with blocking ahead. Clinton Dix was in there. Or rather, Roll and Clinton Dix both. 19-yard run by the 3-year veteran Cyrus Gray.
Another good look at Chris Banjo, and talked about how important the role of special teams is going to be. You think about every play in special teams is the most important because it equals either field position or points. And you have to have guys that can cover kicks and punts and tackle in the open field. It's a critical component of a 53-man roster.
Pennell playing the nose. Green Bay 1st and 10. Gray, and it was picked off! Picked off on the play by Jarrett Bush. And the veteran picks off a second ball in the preseason. Takes it all the way to the 3. 9-year veteran, a terrific camp, and comes up with another interception.
Well, Jarrett Bush practically runs the route for the receiver. He's just going to cross the face of A.J. Jenkins. Bray throws a poor ball, and Jarrett Bush does the rest. And Kevin, every time he's in the game, something good happens, it seems like.
Is under review.
He's just got a nose for the football.
He's had a sack in the preseason. He's a special teams demon. He definitely makes a wave when he plays in the secondary, and that veteran feel is something the Packers love.
I go back to week 1. I think he was in for 16 snaps. He had 8 tackles. I think he had a forced fumble, sack.
He had the sack against the Tennessee Titans in all that rain down in Nashville.
And he can play down around the line of scrimmage. He can play inside in the slot. He's an excellent blitzer. Reminds me a little bit of Charles Woodson coming off the edge. Former Packer corner and safety now with the Oakland Raiders. A good look at Andy Reid and his call sheet. One of the few offensive coaches like Mike McCarthy who also calls the offensive plays. Not an easy thing to do.
Correct something we said. That is the first interception of the preseason for Bush. He had 1, but it was called back because of a penalty. Here he is. And of course, all the turnovers are reviewed, certainly. This year, the officials can talk with one another on the field via some kind of a communication system, and they can confer that way. In New York, the NFL office will help them on certain calls.
Yeah, when the officials go under the hood, they'll be able to talk to Dean Blandino. So the question is whether he was down right there based on the contact with the receiver, A.J. Jenkins. Clearly he's got possession of the football.
He was hit. There was contact. So either the ball will be at the Kansas City 41 or thereabouts, or they'll have it with the goal to go at the 3. And Terry McCauley has got a chance to look at it and made the decision.
The intercepting player was down by contact at the 41-yard line. It'll be first down, Green Bay. Please set the game clock to 7 minutes, 19 seconds. 7:19 on the game clock.
I think the reason why is they feel that contact is what ultimately caused Bush to hit the ground, even though it wasn't intentional by the receiver, A.J. Jenkins.
So Kansas City's had a miserable night. 3 consecutive punts for their offense to start the game. Bush just picked off Tyler Bray. And the Packers have it first and 10 at the Kansas City 41.
And even
Tolzien is in there.
And even, excuse me, Kevin, even if the starters don't play in the final preseason game, I think it's important to gain some confidence as a football team as you finish out the preseason.
Ladarius Perkins looking for some blocks. He gets him. The rookie free agent out of Mississippi State works his way on the side and picks up a quick 9 down to about the 35-yard line of the Chiefs.
Well, they're really winning on first down, the Packers. And they've done a nice job mixing it up, taking some shots, but also running the ball on the perimeter and down the middle between the tackles.
Before about how this run game, the most advanced under Mike McCarthy. Lacey paving the way. Stark certainly put his fingerprints on it. Second down and 4. They give him a gain of 6 on that play. Perkins again. Got the first down. He was hit and tackled in the secondary by Kelsey McRae out of Arkansas State, a former Buccaneer, and he's down to the 30-yard line for a first down.
You watch Perkins run. He's only 5'7", 195 pounds, and he's so short that you lose him behind that big offensive line. Makes it difficult for those Chiefs linebackers to kind of locate him. That's been a little bit of a shorter back like Ray Rice who gets lost behind a big lineman up front.
Tolzien, it's a touchdown pass at 33 yards to Janis. First and 10. Perk, nice move to get free and dances his way to about the 23-yard line and hit by Walker among others and picks up 7 right there. So he's had gains of 7 and 6 yards, getting a first down run before and now making it second down and 4.
One thing that's been very noticeable to me through the first 4 preseason games is the conditioning of this offensive line. You watch them, they get in and out of the huddle. When they go no huddle, you just watch the defensive lines struggle, not get off blocks, not run down running backs. You see this offensive line get downfield. It's been very impressive.
Gerhardt is the new center, going deep. Tolzien off the fingertips of Kevin Dorsey.
Well, he had him. And what happens is they have a double move, and when the receiver restarts, you got to take a little bit off it. Their gait changes a little bit, and that's a difficult catch for a guy like Dorsey.
For a quarterback to absorb the hitch and maybe even throw his own tempo and rhythm off.
Right, but you got to make sure that you give these bigger receivers a chance to make a catch, even if you underthrow it a little bit. Allow them to go up and use their size in space.
Tolzien, 3rd and 4. Rockets one in, almost picked off. Looking Janis on a slant and coverage by Van Dyke, a 4-year veteran. And so they'll face 4th and 4 and try for 3.
Well, this takes a little while to develop, and it's underthrown. It's thrown behind the receiver. The receiver's got to do everything in his power to not let that corner make a play on the football.
Mason Crosby is always a steady man, as he showed last year with his terrific kicking. He was 33 of 37, 29-yarder already tonight, 42-yard try right here, right down, and a little curve there at the end, but he gets it with ease, and he extends the Packer lead over Kansas City 20-0 with 5:11 to play in the second quarter, and updating the quarterback battle, which is on every Packer fan's mind.
I think both have looked sharp. I think both have a couple throws they'd like to have back. But the important thing is both quarterbacks have moved the football team down the field and have come away with points. I'd hate to be Mike McCarthy, Tom Clements, Alex Van Pelt, Ted Thompson, try to sit in that room tonight, tomorrow, to decide which of these quarterbacks is really going to get the privilege. And it is a privilege to back up Aaron Rodgers.
Do you want to make a guess? We're going to hold off to the end of the game because they're going to both play in the second half.
I'm going to hold off, but I think it's that close, Kevin. I really do. I think that, they're having a difficult time deciding as a staff. In a way, it's a good problem. In a way, I think it concerns you a little bit. As you're going to look at Tom Clements to the right of your screen there, the offensive coordinator does a great job communicating with Mike McCarthy during the course of the game. Good look at Aaron Rodgers helping his buddies. See him with the play sheet. He'd be a great play caller, wouldn't he, someday?
He would, yeah. He thinks the game so well. Frankie Hammond Jr. will take it out of the end zone. The wide receiver with the block, and now he gets by Crosby and then hit by Miles White and brought down. The receiver making a stop. What did we say before the game? Special teams may earn you a position on the team. He is on the bubble. That can only help his cause.
Well, you got to take good angles when you cover kicks, and what you don't want to see is a guy like Mason Crosby trying to make this stop. And you got to be able to use that sidelines. That is your friend if you're a kicker. You don't want to give a guy like Hammond a two-way go. Good field position for the Chiefs.
Bray remains a quarterback. Threw a pick the last time to Bush from the 46. It is a 1st and 10. Great arm. They're trying to rebuild him in Kansas City. The Volunteer, Tennessee going deep, and he's got separation with his receiver. What a catch by A.J. Jenkins. A former high pick by San Francisco came to Kansas City in a trade. A 45-yard strike and a 1st down.
Well, he just chucks this out there. But watch the adjustment by A.J. Jenkins right here. A little bit of a push-off, and then he goes and gets it. Great concentration by the receiver. Pretty good throw by the quarterback as well. Give him a chance down the field.
1st and goal. Hill, there goes a flag, and there's a Pinnell tackle from behind. 64 is a player who is putting his fingerprints on his camp. He was a rookie free agent, and he has made waves.
Defense number 64.
He just jinxed him.
Because he was offside.
But you're right. You're right, though, Kevin. He has made a lot of plays. He has shown up. He has shown up. He has shown up on the film, and you see him right here as he runs off the field.
That's a previous play. Here we go now. 1st and goal. Pinnell began at Arizona State. Left there under some cloudy circumstances. Makes the 1st hit that time on Cyrus Gray. Gray slithers his way down to about the 1 and picks up about 3. Pinnell had some problems at Arizona State, issues there. Transfers to Colorado State Pueblo. There his presence again, but he was not a player that was able to stay in that program. So he comes with a little bit of baggage and a guy they're trying to figure out if he belongs.
Oh, come on, Kevin. We all have baggage. Look at this guy's biceps, though. He looks like he looks like a nose tackle.
He got baggage in those arms, doesn't he? Huh?
He's got some pipes.
2nd goal. Gray with the tight end. The coverage by Roll. They were going that time again for Demetrius Harris.
Now, you mentioned Roll. He has played well. Goodson, who's not dressed tonight. That's another tough decision to make. Little fade route, does a nice job getting his hands up against the bigger tight end.
He was cut by Buffalo, and New Orleans was Jamal Roll, signed by the Packers in October to the practice squad, active week 17.
Empty.
3rd and goal. Timeout, Green Bay.
Charge timeout. Green Bay, 30-second timeout.
Clinton Dix getting a lot of snaps tonight. Green Bay has scored on 2 touchdown passes, 1 thrown by Flynn, 1 thrown by Tolzien. And we've talked about the center position with Lindsley. We've talked backup quarterback. We've talked nose tackle, which is a continuing story and now certainly in focus. With B.J. Raji out, guys like Pinnell trying to make their mark.
And the importance of that position in Dom Capers' 3-4 defense. He has to anchor the front. He's got to be able to take on the double teams. He's got to be able to stop the run. He's got to be able to get push and penetration inside against the pass. And I don't think it's one player that's going to be able to do it.
Some key dates coming up in one less than 48 hours.
When you look at what's right around the corner, a week from tonight, the Packers travel to Seattle. You'll be there. Yep. That is going to be a big one. And they have put a lot of time in advance of that game.
3rd and goal. Bray, and caught for the touchdown. Grabbed on the play, and a good catch made by Richard Gordon out of Miami. Good throw by Bray. Slings it in.
That is a tough route to defend because it happens so fast. And you look at the defensive player, Bradford, he's in position. He just can't get that right arm up quick enough to rip it out.
And now the extra point by Ryan Suckup. He puts on the 7th point for the Chiefs in a 20-7 game with Green Bay on top and 3:21 to play. Mike McCarthy was telling us this morning that after this game, he'll go back and after he meets with the press and checks with the trainers and goes to the locker room, he'll go immediately to his film room, watch some defensive tape from tonight. He'll also visit with his special teams coach. And then he'll come in tomorrow morning, Sean Slocum.
Yep.
And then he'll come in tomorrow morning. He'll look at the offensive tape from tonight and then go right into Ted Thompson's office. And there they will meet. And there they will begin to put together the 53-man roster. And now 10 practice squad players, which is new this year.
Yeah, up from 8. That's going to help. But, you know, you look at Ted Thompson right there, Mike McCarthy. This is a very difficult time for these guys. You know, you develop relationships with these players. This has been a process that's gone back to free agency, the draft, the OTAs, the minicamp, all the time that you've got invested in these players, and they all can't make this football team. In fact, Kevin, it's one of the more difficult teams to make because of their experience, because of the success that they've had over the last 5 or 6 years.
And a ton of other teams' scouts are at Lambeau tonight. Dorsey is deep back. Trying to make his presence felt on special teams. 7th-round pick from a season ago. Up past the 20. Somebody lost their hat up to the 23-yard line for Dorsey on a 28-yard return. We talked about the wide receiver position. Dorsey trying to make it. Janis, the rookie, trying to make it too.
Yeah, I think he's had a really nice preseason. I mean, you go back and look at this big play in week 2, a touchdown catch against the Rams. He's made big plays in practice. And of course, another big catch tonight for a touchdown from Scott Tolzien. And we talked about his involvement, his role as a punt returner. He's done a nice job of that through the preseason as well.
Vunovich playing that left tackle. Rod the right tackle. Tolzien first down and 10. Checks down. There's DeHill out of the backfield. A nifty run to about the 28-yard line. Picks up 6 on the play. These running backs have got to catch the ball because they don't want to take them off the field as they speed up the pace of that offense.
Yeah, and they've always been a very good screen team. I think part of that is that they rep it and work on it in practice. They've got an offensive line that can get out, that's athletic, that can run. And they've got a quarterback, a bunch of quarterbacks that do a good job with their technique, drawing the rush, keeping their eyes downfield, and dumping it off to the back late.
2nd down and 4 for Scott Tolzien. Hill. It's interesting, I was reading before about the Packer possessions we'll take a quick look at, but the offensive line was mentioning that last year there were so many 2nd and 3rd efforts given by Lacey and Starks, and they noticed the offensive line that they weren't finishing their blocks. And they said they've made it, the starters have made it a real attention to detail point in preseason to finish your blocks to assist that run game.
They've done a much better job. You're right, Kevin. It's been a point of emphasis. And I think the offensive line and the running game has really picked up where it left off a year ago. And I think with a healthy Eddie Lacy, James Starks, DeJuan Harris. I think they have a chance to be a top 5 rushing team this season.
Great point. All smiles at Lambeau. Packers at the 2-minute warning on time. Flynn has done a touchdown pass. Tolzien has done a touchdown pass. 2-minute warning. That's our score. Packers have the ball. Coming up on the Toyota halftime report, our Ron Burks had a chance to sit down earlier this week with Packer wide receiver Randall Cobb. Also check in with your local news and have stats and highlights from tonight's first half. Well, next, coming up on the Toyota halftime report on a cloudy night in Green Bay with a threat of rain, they say, in the second half.
No chance. Look at those skies.
Yeah, cloudy. So you would not have made a good weatherman.
That's a great night for football. It's cool. We've got a fast track. We've got a lot of young players just dying to make this team.
Boy, does that look good. What a stadium. What a look.
It is a
place to come.
It is a great place to come and play and watch a game. It's a
down
privilege.
10. Tolzien. Wallace the tight end. And out of bounds that time by Daniel Sorensen. Pickup of 7 on the play. And, gets out of bounds, 155.
And these are great reps for this offense, but more importantly, Kevin, for Scott Tolzien, a chance to go through the mechanics of a 2-minute drill before the half.
Packers 1 timeout left. 2nd down and 4. With 4 wide, Sherrod holding his tackle position on that right side. A little wide. Alex Gillette incomplete from Tolzien.
Quarterback and receiver not on the same page there. Looked like Gillette wasn't quite out of his route, and quarterback was a little anxious. Timing and rhythm so critical in this offense. Talk about trusting your feet. Sometimes we take 5 when we're supposed to take a 7-step drop, and that makes us early.
3rd and 4. With that timeout remaining, Tolzien back away. A couple of those tonight by Kansas City's defense. James Michael Johnson, a veteran who's had some time with the Cleveland Browns. Flag was thrown at the 46. Might have been against Quarters.
Offense number 81.
It was.
Penalties decline. 4th down.
Just running a little drive route. This is a base concept in Mike McCarthy's offense where you've got the receiver comes in short motion. He goes first. The tight end goes up the field about 8 to 10 yards, and he runs a basic route. Looked like Andrew Quarles might have pushed off a little bit to try and create some separation between himself and the defender.
Let's look tonight at Tim Mastay, and deep back will be Frankie Hammond Jr., who had that kickoff return of 48 yards moments ago. Mastay. Great special teams by Banjo. He was on it. The hang time, too, good. 4-7. They want anything over 4-5. Loss of 2. Banjo like a rocket downfield.
That's how you make a team. Couple big special teams tackles tonight. He beats the up blocker, and he makes a great open field tackle. And you love to see this excitement from the young players after a big play. That fires everybody up on the sidelines.
Take pride in those special teams. It then leaves a chance to make your presence known on the field with the offense, or in Banjo's case, the defense.
Absolutely.
Gray remains in there. Niall Davis is back in as the running back for Kansas City. 1:36 to go. A couple timeouts left for the Chiefs. 1st down and 10. Screen. Davis. And works his way upfield to about the 23-yard line. And a gain of 7. Catch and run of 7 for Niall Davis. Waiting for the Razorbacks at Arkansas. Coach Bielema down there now, former Badger coach. 2nd down and 3. Gray. Kind of underthrew Fred Williams there, but they're going to say a timeout taken by Kansas City and a catch. Williams was able to scoop it in, so they make the grab. That was pretty good change of body direction there by Williams. St. Cloud State.
Yeah, he's just going to throw it between the corner and the safety. Does a nice job going down and getting that ball.
Review the battle at safety for the Chiefs. Banjo special teams play, and we know about Micah Hyde, we know about Clinton Dix, and the rest of the names. Burnett will be a starter.
Yeah, absolutely. You got Morgan Burnett, Micah Hyde, Clinton Dix, and you look at Chris Banjo. He has done some good things. Sean Richardson. You look at Miller. They keep
Tough.
4, maybe 5.
Plus now we're seeing teams put more safeties on the field than before because defenses can't keep up with the fast-paced offenses. 1st and 10 for Bray, and caught. Williams on the sideline, and grab at the 44, pickup of 17, second catch on this drive.
The other thing to keep in mind when we think about this 53-man roster, Kevin, is that the Packers, unlike a lot of other teams, they don't necessarily say we're going to keep 5 tight ends or 4 tight ends or 6 tight ends. They're going to keep the best 53 players. So if they only keep 4 tight ends, there's been a year where the Packers kept 6 tight ends. If they only keep 4 this year, that opens up 2 roster spots, maybe an extra safety, maybe an extra wide receiver. You don't know which direction Ted Thompson and Mike McCarthy may go.
1st and 10 for Bray. Tackle was made by Ryan White. Davis out of the backfield picks up 6 down to the 40-yard line. Pinnell will come back in for Green Bay Packers. And another timeout taken. Look at some of the numbers on Ryan White. We have a couple of Auburn kids here in the game. White from Auburn for Green Bay, and of course Dee Ford, the #1 pick out of Auburn for the Kansas City Chiefs. Saw the Hunt family on the field before the game, and you talk about a legendary NFL ownership group, beginning with Lamar, who formed the AFL and helped merge it with the NFL. His son Clark now in charge of the organization.
Well, I miss Lamar, one of the original members of the Foolish Club, original owners of American Football League franchises.
2nd and 6, Bray, incomplete.
There's a lot of familiar faces on this Chiefs sidelines to Packer fans. Obviously, Andy Reid, a former assistant coach, his offensive coordinator. Doug Peterson is a former Packers quarterback.
Right.
So, chance for Mike McCarthy to some of the Packers staff to catch up with some of their old colleagues. Good look at Doug Peterson. They're calling some plays tonight.
Saw Norma Hunt on the sideline too tonight. The late Lamar Hunt's wife, classy lady and terrific representative of the NFL. Wonderful woman, wonderful family. It's a terrific franchise in Kansas City. 3rd down and 6. Bray incomplete over Williams. Coverage on the play by Jamal Roll.
Really nice job by the Packers secondary. Almost a really nice job in their coverage. Quarterback had nowhere to go with the football. Good play by the corners and the safeties, funneling everything back up inside.
Carlos Gray comes back out in the middle. Pinnell goes out. So we're seeing Thornton and we're seeing Gray coming that middle along with Pinnell. I mean, you can see it's almost, and there goes Thornton. That is not a good sign for him as he leaves in a game where he really needs to perform well.
Boy, you hate to see that.
Maybe destined for an injured list. 4th and 6. Right through the hands of the twirling tight end, Demetrius Harris.
Boy,
incomplete.
It's not been a good homecoming for him now, has it? He has dropped a number of catchable balls tonight. Mentioned a local product from UW Milwaukee.
They've also got Aaron Murray as a backup quarterback, 5th-round pick out of Georgia. Set all kinds of Southeastern Conference passing records. We expect to see him in the second half. There's Sean Richardson. And back from neck trauma, something you know about. But ended your career early. He's come back, fusion surgery, and playing well.
That's scary, isn't it? When you think about fusion surgery to try and come back and play. Peyton Manning, similar procedure. Now in Denver.
35 seconds remaining in the first half. Tolzien, 1st and 10. Miles White with the coverage and a gain of, let's see, on the play they have 8. Tackle made by Justin Rogers. 1 timeout left for Tolzien. Second and 2, outside they go, and this is caught by Jake Stoneburner, the converted wide receiver from Ohio State, picking up a yard right there. 3rd and 1. Stoneburner on the team a year ago, and when Finley went out, they got him off the practice squad, and he finished out the season.
And I think the benefit of being on a practice squad, of learning how this offense works, watching the older players work, it's a great opportunity for a lot of young players who maybe aren't ready, but get that 1 year on the practice squad to really hone up their skills so they can come back the following year and be more competitive.
3rd and 1, 10 seconds to play in the half. Tolzien brought down. Nice play. Very agile move by Kyle Love, the ex-New England Patriot. Losing 7 with the sack. Back to the 42. And the clock has zeros. But it looks like a timeout. The Chiefs did take their final, or the Packers took their final timeout. Well, they say it's a second time.
To 5 seconds.
Well, we just saw Thornton leaving on the card. Here's some of the other injuries that the Packers have had in preseason.
Well, B.J. Raji's a big one. Don Barkley, his versatility along the offensive line. J.C. Treader will be back at some point. Bostic, look at tonight. Adams, Thornton, both left with injuries. They've worked so hard this offseason to prevent the injuries.
That was the final timeout for Green Bay. 4th and 8.
Lateral.
And they're trying for it. White and coughed it up. It's loose, and the ensuing scramble, and that'll take us to the end of the first half.
The old hook and lateral play was coming.
I was kind of hoping for it. It's fun to watch. Halftime coming up here at Lambeau. Packers getting a touchdown pass of 22 yards by Flynn and 33 yards by Tolzien. Relax this morning, talking to him before what is going to be, I'm sure, a very gut-wrenching type weekend, deciding who stays and who goes. Cairo Santos kicks off, and Kevin Dorsey will come the other way. Out near the 20, and a 21-yard return. Well, the third quarter is sponsored by the Wisconsin Dental Association. Them, along with many others, for sponsoring Packers preseason football.
Have you had your checkup lately?
Of course, I'm getting ready to work with you for the season. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Back to Flynn. We were told he'd play the first, and of course, here now the beginning the third quarter.
A great opportunity for both of these signal callers to come out here and to show what they can do and their command of this offense.
Fake to Hill with a little play action to go outside. Looked like that. That he did. He was held. That was Gillette held by Phillip Gaines.
I think that's his second one tonight, if I'm not mistaken, Kevin. Right at the top of the route, he's going to do just enough.
Pass, illegal contact, defense number 23. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Rich, when you were a backup quarterback and trying to make your presence on a team, what things did you feel extra that you had to do to catch the eyes of the coaches and make some kind of input?
I thought regardless of who I had in the huddle with me, there's no excuse. If I have a third center, a second center, if I've got the fourth or fifth running back, I didn't care. I wanted everybody to perform well. I wanted everybody to know what they were doing. And I wanted to have some fun. You got to have some fun out there. This isn't work. This should be fun for these players.
Hill on 1st and 10. And then brought down by James Michael Johnson.
You know, I had a little, when I was in Kansas City, Kevin, with the Kansas City Chiefs, I had a little expression. We'd call ourselves the GNC, the Get Nice Crew. And so that was one of the things that, regardless if I had a veteran in the huddle with me or a young player, I wanted to have fun out there. And I think that some of these guys are so stressed out about the moment. The best thing that Matt Flynn and Scott Tolzien can do is get these guys to relax, just go make the plays that they're capable of making.
2nd down and 4, just into the third quarter. Hill again. And this time stopped by Nico Johnson, who played at Alabama. And a loss of 2. Well, we just had a shot of Gerhard, who's playing the center. He played center in the second quarter, too. Lindsley is done, and they must feel fairly confident that he got enough reps tonight as he heads into the opener a week from tonight in Seattle.
Well, they've got to be smart. They've already lost J.C. Treader for a while. Now all of a sudden you've got Corey Lindsley, so you can't afford to lose him. And not only that, but Gerhardt, his responsibility. I mean, he's one snap away from being a starter next week in Seattle.
Back in the secondary, and 3rd and 6 for Flynn. Got it. That's a catch by the tight end, Ryan Taylor. 18-yard pick. That'll bring a smile to your face. You better believe it. That was right there where it needed to be, and a first down for Green Bay.
And that's what I'm talking about, having fun out here. Really nice throw by Matt. This ball comes out. He puts it in a perfect spot, allows the tight end to get into the transition of the run.
Taylor, a good special teams player. And that got him on the roster to begin with, and anything else is a little gravy for him just in terms of what he can give to the team. That is his calling card, his special teams play. 1st and 10. Hill, Sherrod with the block, tied up his guy. That opens up the door to the 41-yard line with the tackle made by Johnson. An 11-yard run by Michael Hill.
And I go back to what Ted Thompson said to me 3 or 4 weeks ago when we were talking about Matt Flynn, and he said, I can't speak for what happened to him in Seattle or in Oakland. All I know is in a Packer uniform, the guy has performed well when he's been given the opportunity.
He's comfortable in the system, obviously.
There's no question. I think that, it's a big part of it. Just knowing what to do, how to respond, the history, the experience, the reps in the system are very valuable.
1st and 10, Hill. Right there by McCray with a gain of 5. Mike McCarthy said that his board has not changed except for the recent cuts when they got from 90 down to 75. And there weren't cuts, basically. It was a lot of guys put on the injured list to get to 75. But he says, I won't touch that board until I start thinking about things after tonight.
I think an area where they may add once they get down to the 53 is the offensive line. I think that they could look outside the building to add a veteran player or a young player that gives them some versatility.
Taylor can't hold on. Flynn with a deft move to get the defense to bite. Dropped right there. Incomplete. Taylor is 4 years out of North Carolina. He was a 7th-round pick a couple of years ago.
You want to see your quarterback be able to throw the ball on the run, and tries to squeeze it, but pretty good play there by Sorensen, just ripping it out.
Sometimes you see a guy wide open, you gun it in there when really just a soft, gentle pass will do it. That's of
you got to be able to change pace, and that's
game,
something that Aaron Rodgers does such a great job of. We know about his arm strength, but his ability to take some pace off it, particularly when you're throwing the tight ends and running backs on the move.
3rd and 4. Incomplete, looking for Adams. Flynn hit pretty hard on the play. 4th and 4, they'll keep the offense on the field.
I don't think we'll see much of this in the regular season going forward in 4th and 4 in this situation, but particularly when you consider they've got such a great kicker in Mason Crosby. But I like this idea in preseason that you work on situational football. This is the 2nd time now in this game that we've seen this team go for it on 4th down in this part of the field.
Taylor caught a pass for 18. Hill had a run for 11. 2 of the bigger plays on the drive, which started back at the 20. 4th and 4. Flynn, and may have been hit as he threw. Stoneburner was in his sights on downs. They turn it over to the Chiefs. So Kansas City will take over. 11:15 to play in the 3rd with Green Bay on top, 20-7. 2 quarterbacks fighting for the backup.
Yeah, this is going to go down to the wire, Kevin. I think that we were just talking during the break. When you've got tight ends, receivers open, you got to hit them.
Tyler Bray remains. Davis, the running back. Packers were in the nickel. Elliott with the tackle.
Well, you go back, you look at the tight end. He's going to go to the corner, and they run a little under route. And basically, the protection's good. You got to be able to make this throw. Watch where this ball lands. It lands way out on the boundary as opposed to up the field. You got to keep him on the field. You got to give the tight end a chance to make a play.
He knows it too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. You always talk about a throw or two you'd like to have back. I'm sure that's one Matt would like to have back.
2nd down and 6. Niall Davis with Stevenson ahead. Richardson there. Jarrett Bush, who has an interception in the game there. Look at Flynn. Pickup of 11. 1st down, Kansas City.
It's one area of his game, Kevin, as I analyze Matt Flynn and watch him and through the preseason, really going back and watching his career. He has to improve at throwing the deep ball. And I think that's, you just looked at this game, you look at him through the preseason, he's missed some opportunities throwing the ball down the field, not just to the wide receivers, but the tight ends as well.
It's a good shot there. Stoneburner was the guy he was throwing to. 1st and 10. Davis into the secondary. Banjo knocks him out of bounds. Flag at the 42. It was a 24-yard run.
Offense number 79.
8 penalties against the Chiefs. All have been very, very significant because they've come on plays like that.
Donald Stevenson has not had a good night. I think he had a hold in the first half, illegal hands to the face, nullifies a big run by Davis.
He's not had a good offseason. He was caught for the PED usage and suspended for the first 4 games coming up this season. He was the starting right tackle where he is tonight. Fisher, the #1 overall pick, was there last year. They moved Jeff Allen, who's normally a guard, to right tackle last week, and that was a disaster.
And changes along the offensive line can be very disruptive, obviously, to a cohesive unit, which is what they're trying to create in Kansas City. I worry a little bit about that left tackle spot. You know, Eric Fisher, he's going to have his hands full early in the season.
He hasn't played tonight. Ryan Harris out of Notre Dame is in there right now. 1st and 17. Bray, good rush. Hubbard, he played at Alabama. Starter for a couple years for Nick Saban down in Tuscaloosa. Rookie free agent. Big play right there defensively. Loss of 12.
Well, a great rush. I mean, you could see this one coming early. He's just going to beat the tight end. It's a poor job by the tight end, not using his hands. I mean, he just runs right through him.
He is so tall.
How tall is he?
6'6".
6'6".
Hey, don't ask me questions like that again. You're lucky that I had that right in front of me. Yeah. 2nd and 27. That was a nifty hook here.
It was the way you said it. He is so tall. How tall is he?
See, a teammate would say, yeah, he is tall. You're right, and then go on. Then you ask me, how tall is he?
Tell you the answer.
Luckily, I had it written down. First significant play that really he's made in preseason. They had high hopes when he came in. He is so lanky.
Look at that dance.
Long arm span. That's the Saban dance. That's a Saban dance, right?
Yeah, you know, he comes from a great program at Alabama with Nick Saban's played in a lot of big games throughout his college career.
3rd and 22. They need the 40. Bray. Good looking catch made by Mark Harrison out of Rutgers. They don't have enough for the first. They get as far as the 47, 15-yard pickup, 4th and 7, and they will punt.
And it's a little thing, Kevin, but it's important. You know, you look at that throw there by Bray, and he made the receiver a little behind Mark Harrison, and he had to go down. Had he thrown it in front of him, and he got him into the transition of the run, who knows? Maybe he runs out the backside and picks up that first down.
Injury timeout. I won't even speculate because the athletic trainers out there, the doctor's taking a look at the injured Packer. We'll update that when we come back here in the 3rd. One of the recent stories last couple games has been the play of the rookie free agent Jaron Elliott. He was the player who was down, had an earlier sack tonight. He's got 5 sacks in less than 3 games. The thing is, you say, oh, he'd be a great practice squad player. Well, sure he would be, but he's got to go through waivers. And any team that's been scouting the Packers, and there have been a lot, would say 5 sacks. We can take that right now.
Absolutely. He's a much better player than a lot of teams out there have at that position. And so it's a great problem that the Packers have. That's some very difficult decisions to make here in the next 48 hours.
Colquitt to Janis. Flag is thrown. Janis to the 12 with the knee catch. 36-yard punt. Pretty good hang time of 4-4. Flag has been thrown on the play. Colquitt, he's been around
During
a long
the kick,
time.
Holding receiving team number 20. Half of this to the goal. First down, timeout.
Jamal Roll, guilty right there. Jaron Elliott, one of the many stories of this Packer 2014 preseason. 7:32 in the 3rd.
All we do is win big, win big, win big, win big. All we do is win big, win big.
That was Rich and the Gannettes singing before the game here in Lambeau. That's pretty good, Rich. You sound good.
Thank you. Thank you very, very little.
after a punt from the 6. Flynn remains 1st and 10. Sherrod the block at the right tackle. They go outside. It's Dorsey. Pickup of 11 yards. And he's up to about the 17-yard line trying to make his presence felt. 11-yard pickup. Good throw.
Kevin Dorsey has looked good tonight, Kevin. He's made a couple nice catches. And of course, he's run some good routes. The thing that I always say when you look at these Packer receivers, I don't care if it's the starters or the backups, they all show up and they all block on the perimeter in the running game.
Horrible leg injury. Rookie season, Sherrod, he began at the left side tonight, now at the right tackle. Barclay's injury, that becomes a very important player for this team as a backup. Flynn, 1st and 10, going deep for Janis. That's another penalty flag on Phillip Gaines again. Is that his 3rd tonight, Rich?
That's his 3rd. They're picking on him.
Yeah, they are. Well, he's a rookie.
That was underthrown.
And that has caught your eye tonight with what Flynn is not doing. He's not throwing that long ball very well.
Well, you got to heave that one. I mean, you got a receiver open, and of course they get the benefit of the penalty, but man, a better throw there. If he's able to throw it out in front and not stop the receiver, we could be talking about a huge gain and a potential touchdown.
Another Kansas City penalty. And a big one. Ladarius Perkins in the backfield. Number 7 to play here in the 3rd, 1st and 10. Flynn. Stoneburner trying to throw a block, and he does. And that springs the running back, Perkins. Down, another flag. It may have been a late hit, 22-yard run by Perkins, trying to put his name in the hat for that 4th or 5th running back position, depending on what they keep. And all night long, our guys and gals down in graphics have built these terrific graphics about what they kept last year, which doesn't necessarily mean what they'll do this year.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 46, late hit out of bounds.
McCray.
Half minutes to the goal. 1st down.
The 3rd quarter sideline interview is sponsored by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Rod Burks is on our sideline.
Thanks, guys. I'm joined by Mike Daniels, who earns all his money in the trenches. He knew he was going to be on TV today, so he got his hair cut for this interview. Thanks a lot for joining us right now, Mike. Earlier in the season, you called your guys out. You spoke out and said, hey, we need to get tougher. We need to get nastier. How did that go over in the locker room?
Everybody accepted it for what it was. People know the kind of guy I am, and a lot of them respected it. We all responded. Had a very, very productive camp. Very productive preseason. As you can see, we're about to score again.
You're in the middle of the interview. Keep talking.
And I would love to have seen the play, but we definitely were playing some. Well, you hear the fans cheering, right? Playing some great football. That's a touchdown.
What excites you most about this defense? You got Peppers, you got health, you got Clay Matthews who's healthy right now.
What excites me the most is, like I said, we're playing great football. These are our 2nd, 3rd string guys. We have a lot of depth. We have a lot of young guys doing great things. You see Hubbard, you see Elliott, you see Banjo. Guys stepping up, making plays, Sam Barrington. And I'm only speaking on defense, so it's excellent. I really do love it.
Okay, that's Mike Daniels right here from the sideline. We're going to send it back up to you guys in the booth. Thanks.
How about Perkins, a 22-yard run, setting up an 11-yard touchdown reception. Good blocking ahead. Flynn had it. Nice touch. Packers annex their lead. Crosby. 27-7. 94 yards in a minute and 9 seconds. 4 plays. Mike Daniels called it. Perkins executing it. And Gerhardt with a nice block at the center position. Smiles on the face of Packer, including Aaron Rodgers. When the big man comes over and offers his hand, you like that. Ladarius Perkins with a nice play. 22-yard run on that drive. An 11-yard screenplay that he had with a nice entourage in front for the touchdown, and 50 yards and penalties against Kansas City on that drive.
We were just talking during the break, Kevin, about Ladarius Perkins. Reminds me a little bit of Darren Sproles. Played in San Diego, of course, New Orleans the last couple of years. Now with the Philadelphia Eagles. A great back out of the backfield that can do so much for an offense.
Albert Wilson returning the kickoff. Oof. Welcome to Northeastern Wisconsin. Big hit, 24-yard return. I'd like to remind you all that all rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the expressed written permission of the NFL is prohibited. Did Janice get a lick on him?
Somebody got a hand in there.
Well, they did.
Offside. Kicking team number 20.
Oh,
5-yard penalty. Re-kick.
Boy, guys hate that. Now you got to run all the way back down the field again and cover. Hey, you were playing all the offensive snaps, and now you just got done hustling, 70 yards down the field. You got to go do it again. Thank goodness it's not 95 degrees and humid. Mason Crosby doesn't mind, though. Well, they really have the benefit of some great specialists here in Green Bay. You look at Mason Crosby. Kevin, you mentioned his numbers, kicking field goals last year, but his kickoffs, he does a good job with his directional kicking, great job with his hang time, allowing these coverage units to get down the field and make some big plays.
Crosby kicking off once again. He's had a couple field goals tonight at 29 and 42, sends this 2 yards deep, and once again, Albert Wilson will bring it out. And again, he's stoned. Whacked by Jake Dowdy. Well, fans, go to the Wisconsin Dental Association Facebook page, like it, post a selfie, and there's Mr. Rudman with hashtag #OwnYourSmile for a chance to win a $250 Visa gift card. Great pics. Bet you take selfies all the time. Not there, but you take them all the time.
I'm the selfie king.
I know.
As far as you know.
Always have been. Even before they invented cell phones, you took them. Polaroids. You may be the biggest non-selfie person. McKnight was the fake.
Oh, jeez.
And the pass for Wilson incomplete. And the new quarterback is Aaron Murray.
The passer. Defense.
Hubbard.
Number 49. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down. Illegal contact to the head.
There's a little history there. Hubbard played at Alabama. And, of course, the new quarterback, Aaron Murray, played at Georgia. Georgia-Alabama was a pretty good SEC rivalry, and I think they've met before on the football field, both rookies, and they become reacquainted here in Green
There's
Bay
definitely
tonight.
some history there. No love lost between those two schools in the SEC.
So a 1st and 10, they move it up to the 35. Aaron Murray, 5th-round pick. Liked by a lot of people, but he blew his knee as a senior at Georgia. Could have come out as a junior, did not. And he blew his knee. There's a Jarrett Bush hit. Gain of 2 on the play. And he took his chances and had a good senior year, Murray did at Georgia. But then blew the knee and has spent the entire offseason rehabbing it. There was some question as to where he should be drafted. Had he stayed healthy, he may have been like in the 2nd or 3rd round, some people thought.
Yeah, not the biggest guy, 6'1", 207 pounds, Kevin, but I really liked him. He played in a lot of football games at Georgia, won a lot of games. I think he played almost 50 games and really played some of his best football in the biggest games. As you mentioned, that torn ACL really set him back. Wasn't 100% at the combine, wasn't able to do much. Really had a good pro day, but really fell down in the draft.
Murray 2nd down and 8. They'll rip it deep and picked off by Roll. And maybe he just picked off a roster spot. 6 possible cornerbacks could be kept, you think?
Defense number 55, blow to the head.
And they'll wipe it away.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Indy Mulumba got the quarterback, the rookie, Murray, across the helmet. Roughing the passer. Right across the helmet.
Well, right as he lets it go, you're going to see Mulumba come in. Yep, hit him right on top of the head. Really nice job by Roll. Watch him find the ball. Right there's a nice job not only locating it, but now going up and making a play on the ball in front of Mark Harrison.
That strip sack against Tennessee in the rain down in Nashville. First preseason game. Another penalty against the Packers. 1st and 10 for the Chiefs at the 48. The delay, Joe McKnight. He was hit hard. Banjo. There's some nice contact on the side, but a pickup of 12.
They've had some real success tonight with that delayed draw. With the back offsets, the quarterback does a half roll. They kind of slip the ball in, and the line does a really nice job setting the edge.
McKnight has battled migraines. It's been something that unfortunately has afflicted him. After
There's no foul for defensive holding. 2nd down.
Great high school career. And another nice stint at USC. for Joe McKnight. And then you take a look at Andy Malumba.
You know, I never got migraines until I started working with you about 9 years ago.
Oh, really?
Really?
I did not know that. Second down and 2, and somebody jumped. Yep, and that was Luther Robinson, who they like, who's had a nice
Neutral zone infraction.
little camp.
Defense number 97. 5-yard penalty.
Rookie
First
free
down.
agent battles all over the joint, including linebacker.
Well, this is tough. You know, it depends how many they keep, Kevin. You talk about 9 or 10 in a 3-4 defense, but I think we know what we've got in Peppers and Hawk and Jones and Matthews, Neal, Lattimore, Barrington, Perry. And then after that, you know, you look at Bradford was a 4th-round pick. J-Ron Elliott has really looked good. You know, they've got some really tough decisions to make, and a lot of it's going to come down to, as you've been saying throughout the course of the preseason, their role, their contributions, their ability to play special teams.
Murray, 1st and 10. Out away from Hubbard, and then I think maybe Hubbard got him just enough across the shoestrings to bring down Aaron Murray. So Hubbard comes up with another nice play on defense.
Pursuit, the ability to run and make a play. And
A long reach.
absolutely.
I did tell you he was 6'6", didn't I? The arm span has been something they've talked a lot about.
These guys are getting a lot more reps than they did the first 3 weeks, that's for sure.
You're right, 2nd down and 7.
Delayed draw again.
McKnight.
First down.
Gain of 7 on the play for McKnight. Jared Bush again. Here's a 9-year veteran in Jared Bush in the game with a lot of rookies and free agents and no-name players. Working hard and trying to solidify his position.
And he doesn't care. He loves football. You know, he's a guy that loves playing. It doesn't make a difference if it's with the ones or late in the game. And he's an unselfish player. You know, he's a guy that understands his role with his football team.
64 Pennell back in at that nose tackle on a 3rd and 1. Murray. As again they go for Demetrius Harris. It's incomplete. Overshot him. No yellow on the field. 4th and 1. Andy Reid, we mentioned before, John Dorsey is the general manager coming from Green Bay. He was Ted Thompson's right-hand man.
Incredible job that they did a year ago, taking over a team that won two games the year before. They won 11 last year.
4th and 1. McKnight got it. Carves his way for a 1st down. Picks up 3 when they needed a yard. And the Chiefs move the chains. Packer is down. And it is Hubbard. Another injury. We'll step aside. 2:58 to play in the 3rd with the Packers up by 20. You know, sometimes you can read the body language and tell it's not good, and that truly does not look good for Hubbard, the rookie. Started to rain here, and actually it has picked up during that break. It started to rain. We knew it was coming. You say it may last all weekend.
I told you it was coming, didn't I?
You did, yeah. You did. You said in the second half, and you were right.
Oh, jeez.
You say it's going to last a long time into tomorrow. 1st and 10. Murray. And a catch made by Fred Williams. He is 2. Let's see, where'd they mark it? Maybe out of bounds. Incomplete.
Well, you continue to add to this list. You see Hubbard there on the bottom of the screen. And, you know, this is disappointing because so much went into this offseason, Kevin, about the conditioning and the nutrition and extra sleeps and the studies that they've done to limit injuries. And so this is disheartening to the entire coaching staff. Some injuries you simply can't prevent.
2nd down 10. The draw to McKnight and the tackle by Nate Palmer. With a pickup of 6 to the 16. Well, second game they've played the Packers in the rain in this preseason. Like we saw in Nashville yet, at least, but dealing with the rain nonetheless. And Mike came out of that game, Rich, and said he was thrilled they had the rain to deal with, working with the wet ball and ball security issues.
Absolutely, with a new center and some of the younger quarterbacks.
3rd and 5 and a little bit high as he was looking for Fred Williams out of St. Cloud State. Roll and Banjo among a couple back there for the Packers.
Both of those players, Kevin, really have shown up tonight. Roll and Banjo. Banjo's made some big plays on special teams. Roll made big play on the interception that got called back because of the penalty by the Packers. He just looks comfortable. You know, the corners have the cornerbacks, the cover guys, they've got to be confident guys. They're going to get beat. They're going to give up a big play, but it's how they come back and compete. I think we've seen it from a number of these corners. I think you look at Shields and Jermon Williams, that's how they play, with the kind of a reckless abandon, aggressive style. You know, they want to get their hands on you and disrupt the line of scrimmage, but I think we see that with Casey Hayward and Devon House, Jared Bush, and we saw it with Roll and Goodson as well through the preseason. They've got some tough decisions to make in terms of how many corners they keep.
Rich, when you played, begin to rain during a game like this, what were your initial concerns, things on your checklist? I know not taking off your shirt.
First I had made sure I had a shirt on and I was dressed appropriately. But
no, a body like that, why not take off your shirt?
In all seriousness, that first, the most important thing, and the thing we can't take for granted, that center quarterback exchange. I want to make sure I get the ball, make sure I've got a good grip. There's a heightened awareness when it comes to ball security.
4th and 5. Incomplete. Roll is over there defending Mark Harrison. So
illegal use of hands to the face. Defense number 97. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Luther Robinson. So some miscues by the Packers defensively in terms of penalties.
Well, you see a Chiefs helmet on the ground, and somebody got their helmet ripped off.
Aaron Murray and the Chiefs began this drive of the 20. From the 12, 1st and 10 for Kansas City. Here comes McKnight. Banjo couldn't bring him down, and then finally Tanner Miller, 3-year starter at Iowa, rookie free agent, limiting him to a gain of 2 as they continue to look at Hubbard. And that says it all. Concern on the face of the doctor and the player.
Yeah, you hate to speculate, but yeah, you see a player there in pain, and hopefully it's nothing serious.
11th play of the drive, McKnight. Right down the middle, inside the 5 with a corkscrew move. Gain of 7. You're worried about the field too and the footing. A lot of times these teams will have several pairs of shoes on the sideline, which players can change just in the midst or change the cleats.
Yep, they'll go to a longer screw in. Get from 5/8 to 3/4. And
3rd down and 2. Aaron Murray to Joe McKnight. To the 1. And he's got the first down. That was a good hard run. Gray right there at the bottom of the pile along with Ryan White.
Well, the Chiefs offensive line is getting some movement now up front. Starting to wear down the interior of this Packers defense.
Luther Robinson too had him right around the shoulder pads. 1st and goal. McKnight again. Block from Linkenbach, who was signed as a free agent. Former Indianapolis Colt, versatile lineman. Yeah, it's a touchdown.
Took them a while.
It sure did, but they saw it. Chiefs get the running touchdown. McKnight get a 12-yard run on that drive.
See him pushing, keeping those feet moving, twisting, turning. The hand goes down. That's actually the offensive lineman. Boy, it's really tough to tell.
They'll review, obviously. And that's what we're waiting for. 3 seconds to play here in the third, and a steady rainfall. Yep, they'll count it. And the extra point. This is Cairo Santos, rookie free agent from Tulane. Puts it through. 3 seconds to play in the third, and a new score, 27-14. Green Bay lead, 6.5-minute drive. Big dates coming up. One Saturday at about 3-4 in the afternoon. I think 4 o'clock Central Time.
And a lot of these players, Kevin, will have a very difficult time sleeping between now and then. It is a painful, it's an excruciating experience that to go through. I remember my rookie year like it was yesterday. You keep thinking, is this going to happen? Every time the phone rings, your mom, your dad check on you, think maybe it's the team calling you to come in with your playbook. It is a scary time. I remember when I finally found out, I was so relieved to know that I made the team. And I think that you know, for some of these players, it's going to be very uncomfortable until Saturday, until they finally find out whether or not they make this team.
It was Hubbard who was injured. Elliott was injured too. He had a sack in the game, 5 over the last couple games. Rich, you saw the date of the Seattle game. It's a week from tonight up in Seattle. Mike McCarthy was telling us that this is the earliest he is prepared, the soonest he's been ready for the first opponent of the season.
Yeah, they want to get out of the gates, and they have taken some time going back to the mini camp and the preseason where they set some time aside for Seattle. They did a day a couple weeks ago, and of course a day last week. Taking some extra time out of their preparation in terms of their installs to get ready for Seattle.
With Janis, and he can fly, finds a seam, and there he goes. He's inside the 45-yard line, down to perhaps the 39. Let's see where they finally spot him. Janis, who was the all-time leading receiver for Saginaw Valley State, battled shingles at the beginning of camp, so he missed the first handful of practices. But he's back, hale and hearty. He's got a touchdown reception tonight and a terrific 61-yard kickoff return right there. Janis, 62-yard officially, 62-yard kick return. Rich, they find themselves at the Kansas City 39.
Janis is sneaky fast, isn't he?
Is.
He's got that extra gear that you just don't anticipate. I think he has really helped himself, and I think he makes his team.
Rain has let up just a little bit, but still falling. That doesn't discourage any Packer fans from leaving. Most stadiums are empty quickly. Not here. 1st and 10. With a run by Michael Hill. And not much right there. Down to the 37-yard line. Let's go to Rod Burks on the sideline.
Thanks, guys. I'm joined with Micah Hyde here on the sideline. Mike, are you making that transition from cornerback to safety? How's it been going for you?
It's been pretty smooth. You know, DP's been doing a good job teaching me, and the other guys in the room doing a good job too. Also, you know, just in the meeting rooms and on the field, helping talk me through it. And you know, I'm blessed to have the guys around me to help me with that transition.
Clinton Dix, a first-round draft pick. He's a guy you're battling. You guys' lockers are right next to each other, and you guys are best of friends, but you're battling for the same job.
Yeah, you know, he's a real good football player. You know, that was evident day one he came in, and we knew he was going to, you know, make some plays. But you know, it's a competition. We're having fun with it. I think the number one thing is we want to win a Super Bowl, and so whoever's on the field at the time is going to make plays, and we understand that.
Talk about this defense. What excites you the most about this defense going into this season?
You know, Dom's a genius. You know, these guys that up front, you know, they're workhorses. You know, it's an honor to play behind some of these guys, and you know, all we got to do is, you know, handle the back end, and you know, the defense, you know, the sky's the limit.
He's a true humble guy. That's Micah Hyde here in the sideline. Let's kick it right back up to you guys in the booth.
Good stuff, Rod. Thank you. 3rd down and 7. Hill. They can't bring him down, and because the second effort was there and the first-round pick, D Ford of Kansas City, brings him down. There goes a flag, but he had enough for the first with a gain of 8.
Holding. Offense number 72.
Then wiped away.
10-yard penalty Third down.
By Garth Gerhardt with the hold. You concerned at all about the center position, or did you see enough out of Lindsley and have heard enough about him to think that that without a great deal of other options, that Lindsley is going to hold his own?
Well, you always worry about the lack of experience when you start a rookie, particularly on Thursday night in Seattle. The biggest challenge, Kevin, without question, is going to be their ability to handle that crowd noise out there and the communication, which is absolutely vital in this offense. Aaron's going to have to do more. He's got the benefit of having a player who's been in the same system his entire career. And the other thing that's going to help the center is those two veteran guards, Josh Sitton and TJ Lang.
Tolzien with a great 17-yard connection. Stoneburner is the one who caught it at the Kansas City 27. Tolzien, a great throw.
And a slick ball. Does a nice job resetting and does a nice job holding the tight end up in the hole before he gets hit by the safety.
18-yard pickup through the air. First and 10. Seems like to be Tolzien trying to make this team final quarter. Every play meaning so much. Hill stacked up. Love and Jay Howard are there. Kid out of Florida who was waived by Seattle. No gain on the play.
Well, it's a real dilemma, I think, that the Packers have, Kevin, when it comes down to deciding between Flynn and Tolzien for the third job. If they decide not to have Tolzien be the backup, then he still has practice squad eligibility since he's never been on an active roster for more than 8 games in any of his 3 seasons. Of course, in order to put him on the practice squad, they have to release him, and another team could and most likely would sign him to the active roster. So that's the challenge that the Packers have to decide.
2nd and 11. Whacked as he throws. Stoneburner with a great move. Down the sideline. Hit by McCray. 17-yard catch and run. Another Green Bay first down.
Well, Stoneburner has made some plays here himself in the second half.
And in a very congested tight end position, making his mark.
Yeah, really congested. You look at Quarles, you look at Bostic, Taylor, Rogers, and then after that you've got Stoneburner. And I don't know. My sense is they keep 4 tight ends. You know, typically they keep 5. Maybe I think a couple years ago, Kevin, it was 6. I think they'll stick with 4 tight ends this year.
First and 10. Hill. Brandon Bostic has a slight fracture, right leg. He'll be out for a while. He was probably the #1 tight end, fastest tight end for sure. Gain of 2 on that previous play. Taking a look at the numbers so far. I know you're coming up with a answer here for our question, or at least your opinion on what they should do for the backup.
Well, I think it's going to be really hard to let Scott Tolzien walk out of this building and have another team sign him. And so if you can't put him on the practice squad, you're only going to keep 2. I think you keep the younger quarterback, but Matt Flynn has really played well tonight. And I think, again, I think they're splitting hairs when we decide between Tolzien and Matt Flynn.
Good looking 5-yard run right there by Tolzien.
Absolutely, and I think that you look at maybe who has more of the upside. You know, who throws the ball better, who's got the bigger arm. You know, obviously Matt Flynn has the experience in the system, but talking to Mike McCarthy and Tom Clements, this guy has really worked at it, Kevin. He has really grinded, spent a lot of time in here in the offseason, and that's worth something too. I think there's some value in that the guy loves the preparation, loves the grind, and if you're going to play in this system, you've got to be willing to do the work.
He is a 4-year veteran. He's been in camps and on teams before. To the end zone, touchdown. Great catch. Miles White, 6-yard throw, and it was right on the money. Tolzien with his 2nd touchdown pass tonight.
Well,
that was a beauty.
He got that one up and down quick. He had to fit this one in some traffic. Look, he looks to his left, and then he just drives this ball between the linebacker and the safety, who's late coming in over the top. Whew.
That had some serious gas on it, didn't it?
Yeah, his arm has gotten stronger. There's no question about it. I think they've really worked on his feet. They've sped some things up in the delivery process. He's got a more of a short, more compact delivery, not as elongated.
Well, Janis had the 62-yard kick return. Then White was able to hold on to a rocket fired by Tolzien, trying to make this team as the backup to Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Quarterbacks are keeping both, but now they haven't kept 3 quarterbacks since 2008.
Right, and you know, you kind of put the gun to my head, made me pick between the two, and I think it's really difficult. I think you're right, Kevin. I think when you look at how Matt Flynn has played, the experience that he gives you in this system, and the growth and the development of Scott Tolzien, I mean, these are good young players that I think have a role with this football team, particularly in light of what happened last year, where you lose Aaron Rodgers for a number of games. You're forced to play 4 different quarterbacks. You still find a way to win a division, but you know if you let one of these guys go, somebody else is going to pick them up. And that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, defense number 24, 15-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
Tolzien finishing that drive with 6 consecutive completions. Just threw his second touchdown pass. Flynn has thrown 2 touchdown passes. Packers on top by 20. Light rain, Green Bay, fourth quarter, 34-14. And they're covered any way they can with blocks of cheese or ponchos or camo or cheese hats. First and 10. University of Georgia quarterback Aaron Murray. Threw outside, and McKnight, the back, cut inside, incomplete. Second and 10.
And one of the problems that a lot of these players have, they're not used to playing so many snaps in the preseason. And now all of a sudden they're playing 55 snaps in a preseason game, and on top of that, they're running down covering kicks and punts. And you got 17, 18 starters not playing tonight on offense and defense. These guys have to play more snaps.
Second down 10. McKnight slipping around, and he's out to about the 40, picking up 7. Mike said it was the best quality of camp time that we've had. Now, over quantity, because of the new CBA, you don't have as many practices, so they would rely a lot on more one-on-one drills, but the quality, he thought, was terrific all camp long.
I think they've done a great job teaching. I think that's the one thing about Mike. He allows his assistants to coach and to teach and to spend time with these guys in the classroom in walk-through settings. And so you're right, Kevin, they've been very efficient with their time through the preseason.
That's a McKnight first down run, picking up 13. And to the Green Bay 47. But Mike was concerned about the lack of snaps. He said, our practice time now is just so valuable, and we're not getting as many snaps. We get the quality of snaps, and that's what matters to him. First and 10. Murray outside and caught. Good catch, Fred Williams. 11-yard pickup. Murray on the run. Good looking throw. McKnight, touchdown. That was a terrific play by rookie quarterback Aaron Murray, 36 yards. There's a flag down. And Murray thinks it's against his Chiefs.
Illegally touching the pass. Offense number 30 went out of bounds, came back in, and was forced to touch the pass. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Now you get a look at McKnight. See that right foot, left foot, steps out, comes back in. He can't be the first player to touch the ball.
See, the official has his hand off, and that's how he signals. And
you know where you're at in the field. Sometimes you get rerouted a little bit. And we always talk about giving yourself a little bit of cushion on the boundary so that you don't allow these defensive backs to push you out of bounds.
First and 15. Moving up nicely is Murray, who's looked good in this game, and it's Off to Wilson, who was brought down on the play by Carl Bradford. Gain of 5 and near the Green Bay 35. I like Murray.
Yeah,
he has a lot of composure in that pocket.
He's a good-looking prospect. You can tell, you can just see the experience. Kevin, I think he had 52 starts at the University of Georgia.
2nd and 9. That pass is a little wide and uncatchable for Mark Harrison.
Played a lot of football in the SEC. Gets some great competition. Played in big games, games that meant something. Won a lot of football games.
Means a lot to coaches and NFL
does.
people,
Well,
doesn't it?
particularly, yeah, you love guys that played 4 years in a program, guys that were starters, for 2 or 3 years, captains of the football team. Talk a little bit about their leadership, how they represent themselves on and off the field. It's important when you add a player to your organization.
Murray with a 3rd and 9. Underneath, he's got Wilson. Brought down by Bradford. Also hit on the play by Ryan White. Gain of 7. 4th and 2. At the Green Bay 28. The thing is with these quarterbacks, and you played it so well for so long, but the big picture, the big picture's always got to be in focus for these guys. Huh?
Yeah, really understanding situational football, Kevin. It took me a while to figure it out, and why coaches are calling plays in certain situations.
4th and 2. Cyrus Gray, a veteran who twists his way. Gain of 3. Flag is down, and a Packer is down.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Offense number 64. 10-yard penalty, 4th down.
Another Chiefs penalty. And I have not, there is the number, Nate Palmer. Nate Palmer, 6th round pick, and holding on to that leg. 6th round pick out of Illinois State a year ago will take a timeout. Each quarterback throwing a couple touchdown passes tonight. The 20-point lead you see we're in the 4th. Mark Murphy is the CEO and the president of the Green Bay Packers, and he's joined us up here in the booth. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, Kevin and Rich.
Stadium looks great.
Just
thanks.
Great. And it's always better when you're winning, too. Even in preseason, it's good to have wins.
Well, Mark, we were just talking a minute ago about, these decisions that you have to make as an organization, and you become so close with players that you draft, that you pick up in free agency. I know that you and Ted and Mike, this is a tough time, these next couple of days, as you have to say goodbye to some players.
It really is. You get, especially veterans that you've been with for years, and but it's you want to have tough decisions. If you're in a team where it's easy to cut your squad down, something's wrong. But yeah, injuries are a big factor. There's so many different things you look at. I just give Ted all the credit in the world, and he and Mike have such a good working relationship that I think do right by the team and the players as well. It's a difficult process, though. You're right.
Cut down is coming up. Mark Murphy is with us, the CEO and the president. The Green Bay Packers. I can't tell you, you know this. We go to all these different stadiums in the preseason, and things empty in a hurry, and even to begin the game, you got a half-full stadium. In Green Bay, that is never the issue.
No, I was really pleased with the crowd tonight. And by and large, they stayed. Now, once the rain came, they started to exit a little bit, but now, Russ Ball and I were talking about it. We can't take it for granted. We just got, we're so fortunate with the fan support we get, and we were watching the Red Zone channel, some of the other, like you said. I mean, the stadiums are all empty.
One thing, though, that Mark, it stands out about the Packers, the organization, you, as a president, you never rest on what you've done. You're always looking to evolve, and I think that's the mark of any good organization.
Well, it's first of all, the league is extremely competitive. So, I mean, if you're not improving, you're going to end up, really suffering. But I think the organizational structure. I mean, it goes back to when your father was here. I think it just really works well. We've got really good people. Obviously Ted Thompson and Mike McCarthy, and I think the executive committee and the board structure we have now, and the other thing that I think is really helping the Packers as well as every team is we have a collective bargaining agreement in place that really works well for the players, as well as the teams, and we're able now to invest in stadiums, football facilities that I really think are going to bode well for the future of the organization.
You mentioned Ted Thompson. You extended his contract in this preseason.
Yeah, I was really pleased we were able to work that out. Ted's just he's been great to work with, and just does such. I think he's the best general manager in the league, and just has done an outstanding job for us. And so we're happy to have him tied up long term.
Mark, every time I come here, it seems like there's something new. The atrium a couple of years ago, obviously, the Pro Shop, the Packer Hall of Fame, all the adjustments you've made there. But I want to ask you about the Crick, because I know you're always looking at ways.
Sure.
You sit down, and of course Ted and Mike every offseason to figure out ways you can improve as an organization. Late last year, you finished that facility. It makes you guys more efficient and allows the trainers to get their hands on the players a little bit, allows you guys to do the walkthroughs here as opposed to having to go across the street.
Yeah.
It's amazing the little things that you guys do to help the players, to put them in a position where they have a chance to be successful each week.
Yeah, the football facilities were really good. I think with the renovation in 2003, they've been great. But we're looking at, what things can we do to give ourselves a competitive advantage. And, now with the new collective bargaining agreement, quite honestly, walkthroughs are probably more important than practices. You have more of them. And so to create a space where you can have really efficient and effective walkthroughs has helped us. And, I think the coaches are really excited about it, and the team, the players as well.
Mark, do you like to get your hands dirty in terms of just being there with Ted and Mike when they're making you played the league so many years, a terrific player? And the fact you got that experience puts you in a very unique position to look at the personnel moves.
I learned long ago, Kevin, you hire people and let them do the job. No, I love football, but no, Ted Thompson has complete control in football, and he knows he has my support, and I'm just involved to the extent that, he knows that I'm supportive, and most importantly, committed to providing him the resources he needs to run a successful and championship program.
You've been terrific in that regard, and congratulations on another terrific off-season and what looks to be a very promising season coming up.
Yeah, kind of worried about some of these injuries, but I think we're all fighting it. But no, I think we have a chance to have a really good season this year, and hopefully at the end of the year we'll be celebrating Lombardi Trophy, bringing it back where it belongs here in Green Bay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin.
Appreciate your time coming by.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. Thanks for all you guys do. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark Murphy, the CEO and the president of the Green Bay Packers. What a title, what a position, what a terrific job that he has done with his wonderful staff. And outside, Tolzien throwing to Gillette, the wide receiver. 4.5 to play. Rain, I think, has stopped, Rich, if I'm reading this correctly, and this is going to help. And they get a first down right there with a gain of 8.
That's amazing. You talk about, if you do a study on successful organizations in the National Football League, you have to have consistency at every level of the organization in terms of your president, your general manager, your head coach, your quarterback. The Packers have been so fortunate over the last 2 decades or so to have that stability, which is so critical and so vital at the most important positions in your organization. Kev, we talk all the time about the Oakland Raiders, the Cleveland Browns, that have had so much turnover with the quarterback, the coach. We fire coaches, we fire coordinators, and it's crazy. It's insanity. But to have the stability, the leadership of guys like Mark Murphy and Ted Thompson and Mike McCarthy, who all work together, and a quarterback, how do you go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers? 2 quarterbacks, it just doesn't happen. And it's been a tremendous luxury here in Green Bay.
Ask Miami. Ask a lot of these places that have had that great quarterback that can't seem to find the replacement. 2nd down, 8. Tolzien needs the 36. Slides to the 35 and gets the first down. A run of 9.
The quickest way to get run out of the coaching business is not to have a good quarterback. This is a really good play by Tolzien. Gets outside the pocket and has the wherewithal to slide and get the first down.
You mentioned before when talking about Tolzien, his work ethic, his work in the film room, the way he is meticulous with his attention to detail and work habits. These are things that the coaches notice as much as they notice things on the field.
Well, they're really important at that position. And I always say that you want a quarterback that takes a great deal of pride not only in his performance, but in his preparation during the week. And I think, you know, we saw that for years with Brett Favre, who's going to come back in the fall. That's going to be exciting.
Right, yeah. We should have asked it. We should have
asked Mark about that. But they're going to retire Brett's number at some point. I think it's in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's about time that he comes back to his home and to where he made his mark in the league. And of course, you know, with Aaron Rodgers, who someday will probably be in the same boat. But look at that. Look at those numbers. You know, this is an iconic place. This is a special place in the National Football League.
So number 4 will be hoisted up there. 2-minute warning. Packers in control. Aaron Rodgers licking his chops. A week from tonight, it all starts. 2-minute warning. Rain has stopped here in Green Bay. Coming up on the American Family Insurance postgame report, we'll name the Wisconsin Department of Transportation player or players of the game. And look ahead to next week's season opener against the Seahawks in Seattle. All that on the American Family Insurance postgame report. They have stayed and they have enjoyed. We had a couple of first-timers up here in our booth. People had a chance to be in Lambeau, and they absolutely loved it.
Yeah, what a great experience to be able to come here. And I don't care if it's the preseason or it almost feels like a regular season game when you come here in preseason.
2nd down 11. Tolsey, oh, good throw. Gillette. He's fighting for one of those wide receivers positions. He was a player that they kept for a while last year. 14-yard pickup.
A little deeper slant route. They have a number of different slant routes that they run. This one, more of a 5-step slant as opposed to a 3-step slant. Quarterback takes an extra hitch. And another good throw by Scott Tolzien. He's looked sharp tonight, Kevin, and so is Matt Flynn. So I say keep both of them. Two's better than one. I really would. I mean, I think particularly in light of what happened last year, and Aaron goes down, and then you've got to use 3 other guys, Seneca Wallace, Matt Flynn, and Scott Tolzien.
Tolzien, by the way, has completed 8 consecutive passes. They're going to sit on this and end the game and give the Packers and Mike McCarthy a lot to chew on over the next handful of hours.
I think a number of players really helped their cause tonight, really on both sides of the ball, even on special teams. I thought Banjo played well. I thought Bush played well. Elliott made some plays.
I'd like to thank our terrific crew. And tonight they were as fun to be with and watch work. As we go, Carl Mall, who's Director of Network Operations for Journal Broadcasting. Carl puts all this together. Executive Producer, Rick Rieprock, Creative Services and Marketing Director. Greg Schraffnagel, Director of Engineering. Kent Eschenbrenner, Manager of Technical Operations Tony Lucas, Master Control Operations Tom Fisher, Jeff Lasala, Trina Coleman, and all the terrific people that have worked with us. Doug Brown, thank you. Peter Rudman is our producer. Doug was our director, and our technical manager, Eric Lilly. Associate Director, Jay Galloway, and Alex Sweet, our associate producer. Thanks to Michael Lang, Kristen Lang, and Eric Wests. That is our final. Back after this.